Shalom, Israel, shalom, shalom. Brother Naquam, watchman for Israel, coming back at you with these precepts. And another Monday Night Fire, giving, of course, our honor and our glory to Yahweh. Bahashima Mashiach Malak Yahushai. Double honors to the elect elders of the house of David. That's been this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting for the second coming of Hamashiach Malak Yahushai. A hearty, mighty shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out there on the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnify the ministry, presenting their body as a living sacrifice. Shalom to those men. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there on the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're studying, they're praying, they're fasting, they're getting built up in the spirit. They're being diligent and abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the Aquath out there, the sincere sisters out there, holding it down in the households, reverencing their husbands, being submissive, being diligent, and moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. Shalom to everybody tuning in live. Lene, HBK Int, Rochelle Gal Gadot, T Sellers. We got next Israel. K-Rock the Don, Lady of Zion 101, Michael Williams, 2nd Ezra chapter 654 through 59. Mighty brother from WFI Greensboro, Nahum Yasha Allah, Brother Azariah, mighty brother in WFI Indianapolis, Dabarash, the Elder in Baltimore, and everybody else tuning in and that will tune in. All praise again to Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua. The topic of this Monday Night Fire is the three kings and the one kingdom, right? And this is pretty much a continuation of a Sabbath service that we did maybe about a month or so ago, man. We touched on Sirach, the 49th chapter, the 44th chapter, and we went into three of our kings. And three kings that you read about throughout the Bible are three kings that you should pattern your life after. Right, you know, here growing up in America or Babylon the Great or wherever you are, whether you're in the islands or whether you're over in Europe or whether you're in the land of Ham or wherever you are, man, the amount of positive influences that we have as a nation of people is slim to none, right? The positive influence we have is slim to none, man. I mean, all we have is Shalom King, Yahweh Shemel Shabbat.
Shalom King, Yahweh Shemel Shabbat.
Yeah, all we have is damn athletes, celebrities, comedians. You understand? Corrupt, wicked politicians, right? You may have people may look up to the damn middle school teacher or look up to their PE teacher, and we don't have anybody, man. Right? We don't have any heroes to call our own. We don't have many men of great renown and a sight of the Most High God. We don't have anything as a people, man. Until you open up the holy books. And you open up from Genesis to Revelation, you read about these kings, right? So I'm going to go to Sirach chapter 49, and I'm going to go to verse 4, right? We went into that on the Sabbath service. The brother said, well, where's our kings at? Well, who are we? We didn't even go into an actual king. All we read was First Kings, right? And we read Second Kings. And the brother was confounded just simply off of us reading a book called First Kings. That's all it takes sometimes. First Kings, you know, this is Ecclesiasticus, and I love the Book of Kings, man. Right, that's one of my Kings and Chronicles are mighty books, man. Right, so this is so right again, this is a continuation of the Sabbath service. We touched on King David, right, and now there are two other kings we want to touch on, man. Right, so this is Sirach chapter 49 and verse 4. It reads, all except David, Hezekiah, which is Hezekiah, and Josiah's were defective, for they forsook the law of the Most High. Even the kings of Judah failed. Therefore, he gave their power unto others and their glory to a strange nation. So you have many kings in the Bible, man. And as much as our people know all of the presidents, you can know George Washington and John Adams and go all the way down. So I don't even know how many presidents there are now. I think like 50, maybe 51. I don't know, right? People know all of these kings. You know, we should be able to know all of our kings off the top of the head like that, man. Brothers should know their kings more than they know the in-depth breakdowns, man. You know, you should be able to say, okay, Saul, all right, David, then etc., and then etc. Then you go from Rehoboam and Asa, and you should be able to go down that list. These are your forefathers. And the Most High said all of those kings except three men were defective. What three men weren't defective? King David, which we touched on, King Hezekiah, which we will touch on, Lord willing, and King Josiah, if the Lord permit, we'll touch on him too, man. But you got it, King.
Khan, that's right, man. You got to know your forefathers. You got to know what's going on, especially with the kings. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 51, right? And verse 2. It says, look unto Abraham your father, and unto Sarah that bared you. For I called him alone, and blessed him, and increased him. So the Lord told you to look upon Abraham, man. Not look upon damn LeBron James. And a lot of people, they looking upon little baby, looking upon all of these rappers, man, getting their influence and their understanding. The Lord told you to look upon, man. Abraham took care of his family. He was strong. He was a warrior. You understand? He led. He did everything there was to do, man. He was a strong role model, and he definitely was one of our pillars as a father, man. He followed the Lord. He was the Lord's friend, man. That's mighty when you think about it. Shall I not show the thing that I do before Abraham, paraphrasing greatly? So Abraham, I mean, he did everything there was to do in this thing, man. It was our forefather to Isaac and Jacob, and so on. And it says to look unto Sarah. And we're not looking into Megan Thee Stallion. We're not looking into Nicki Minaj. We're not looking into the city girls, man. Damn Glorilla. We're looking into our foremothers, man. Sarah, she was on fire for the Lord. She was submissive. She cooked. She did everything there was to do. And you understand, she had faith. So these are the things we got to remember and touch back on constantly as we remember our forefathers.
Khan is right, man. And I want to get this. This is a book of, and you can read about these kings. Their names live forever. It's not as if you read about Hezekiah and Josiah and David just in 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st Kings, 2nd Kings, and Chronicles. You read about them in the Apocrypha. And you can read about Hezekiah and Maccabees, man. When Judas was praying, he recalled the angel that slew 185,000 Assyrians during the time of Hezekiah, man. Right? And we're going to go into these different men, and this is something that brothers need to understand. This is imperative. Right? Let's go to the book. We're going to start with I want to put this up first and foremost so brothers can see this, so you can understand the where we're at with this thing, man, the timeline of things. Right? So let me put this up on a map, or rather this genealogy, so brothers can look and see the relation and the correlation between these men. Right? We're done learning about them so-called white man presidents and kings, man. Right? So let me pull this up. So brothers should be able to see this. So here's the genealogy. All right, you able to see this?
Come.
Okay, all praises. Right? And brothers can look this up on their own. We're not going to spend 3 hours going through every king, right? We're going to touch on the top 3 kings, and we touched on David. We may go back to him. Right? 3 kings, 1 kingdom, right? So the genealogy of the kings of ancient Israel and Judah, right? And you look on your map legend or your map key, right? Blue indicates rulers of the United Kingdom of Israel. That's before it was divided. And then you have red, right? Which is the Northern Kingdom kings, the house of Joseph, right? And then you have green, which is the rulers of Judah. So that's a legend or a map key, and that down arrow shows the transfer of power. So when you go, we want to focus on really this blue and green. Here are your kings, man. Saul, David, Solomon. These 3 kings were around when the kingdom was united until around 722 BC. Well, not necessarily. Well, I would say more so around 930, 925 BC, around that time. Right? That's when the kingdom slowly started to break apart. And then completely at 722 BC. Right? So then you have Rehoboam, Abijah, and brothers try to know this stuff, man. Try to get this so deep into your mind. Abijah and Asa, Jehoshaphat, Jehoram, right? Ahaziah, Jehoash, Amaziah, Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, Hezekiah, Manasseh, Amon, Josiah, right? Jehoiakim, Jehoahaz, Zedekiah, and Jehoiakim. These are your kings of Judah, right? Now, Hezekiah is really the great-grandfather of Josiah, right? You read about Josiah all throughout the Bible. You read about him. He was actually prophesied in the book of First Kings, if I'm not mistaken, the 13th chapter, right? That he would burn the bones upon the altar by the man of God. His great-grandfather, right, is King Hezekiah. And King Hezekiah is one of the most righteous kings that's documented all throughout the Bible, right? So that's just a quick genealogy so you can actually see your kings. And you can pull stuff like this up all the time. You can get the Rose Book of timelines and chronology. You can look it up. You can study on your own and know these kings and what time they ruled and what cities that they built and the different weapons of war and the technological advances they did, and read these accounts, man. You know, you got a king. I just wanted to bring that up.
Salaki, real fast, like the brother was bringing out, everybody should have one of these, man. Right? Now, within this, like the brother bringing out, I don't know if you can see this good, but it give you the dates and the times of these kings, right? So you can have those things. And you want to be able to have notes and able to go, you understand, to break these things down and know, you know, the Southern Kingdom, the Northern Kingdom, how many years they ruled, and the times and dates. So these things have, you know, pretty much a brief synopsis of these kings, the times they ruled, and it has the chapters. You know, it gets down with the precepts. And this thing is very, very vital to break down understanding and information, you know, to have at one time. If brothers don't already have that, right? But let me bring this up real fast. All right, it's the book of Sirach, chapter 44. All right, it's the book of Sirach, chapter 44, and verse number. I'm gonna start at Salaki, bear with me. We'll start at 4. I'm gonna start at 3. It says, such as they bear rule in their kingdoms, men of renown, for their power, given counsel by their understanding and declaring prophecies, leaders of the people by their counsels and by their knowledge of learning meet for the people, wise and eloquent in their instructions. So our forefathers were wise and eloquent, man. They led, they went to wars, you understand? And they had zeal, man. That's not talked about a lot, man. I love when I read about my forefathers, how much zeal they had, man. I mean, slewing people on the altar, grabbing up people, throwing them out the temple, right? Defending the work of the Lord, building up the temple. These things are inspiring and mighty to look upon, man. It says, such as found out, I'm going to jump down to verse 7. It says, all these were honored in their generations and were the glory of their times. And you want to be the glory of your time, man. We living in the last days. This is the last generation. You understand? You got to say, what mark am I putting in? What pillar am I setting? And what am I doing in the last days, man? Am I moving in the spirit of Hezekiah? Am I moving in the spirit of Josiah? Am I moving in the spirit of King David? What am I doing in the last days that's acceptable before the Lord? Because the Lord lays down the blueprint of the men that he found acceptable, perfect, righteous, you understand, that he gave mercy to. You have to follow in their footsteps, the men before that were pleasing to the Lord.
And I'm read this. This is 2 Chronicles chapter 29 and 1. Now you can read about, if you want to read the book of Kings, read the book of Kings. You should read the book of Kings. You're commanded to read it. But when you go into Chronicles, it's a more detailed account of some of our kings. You understand? You'll read a brief breakdown of their life in the book of 2 Kings or 1 Kings and what they have done. But as you dive into Chronicles, you begin to see different more accolades and feats that these men did that's not documented in Kings, man. You know, so this is 2 Chronicles 29 and 1. Hezekiah began to reign when he was 5 and 20 years old, man, and reigned 9 and 20 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Abijah, the daughter of Zechariah. And he did that which was right in the sight of Yahweh, according to all that David, his father, had done. And we have to ask ourselves, are we doing what's right in the sight of the Most High? Or are you doing what's right in the sight of the world? Hey, breaking the Sabbath is okay in the sight of the world, man. Being a whore, that's right in the sight of the world. Being part of this LGBT, etc. community, that's right in the sight of the world. Hey, David did, it's like Hezekiah did, which was right in the sight of the Most High, right? He, in the first year of his reign, in the first month, opened the doors of the house of the Lord and repaired them. So it didn't take him 10 years to try to figure out, you know, what he should do. I don't know. I'm sitting on the throne. Okay, I think now I want to try to read. It says, as soon as this man came into position of power, he put his hand to the plow. He put his hand to the ministry, man. Nobody had to sit there and wait around and tell him. It literally says, in the first year of his reign, in the first month. So he was on fire. Imagine coming in on your first month in the truth and you start repairing the breaches of the house of the Lord, man. Right? You start setting stuff up, right? We first come in our first month. I mean, we still niggas, man. 9 out of 10, and if you say that you wasn't, then you're an exception. But 9 out of 10 Jakes I knew when they first came in the truth, their first month, I mean, you were still essentially a Negro, man. You know, or a woman, your first month, you still, I mean, you don't know anything. This man, he began to repair the breaches. It's like he opened the doors of the house and repaired them, huh? So we want to have that spirit. And we can go all on in this, man. I know, brothers, we could, it's a lot in Second Chronicles, right? And he physically did that. They had a physical temple, right? A physical doors, and he had to repair the doors so men can come in and the priest can do the service of the Most High, right? And you have to make sure that you're repairing your doors, man, right? That you're building yourself up, right? I'm gonna get a few more because I know, you know, we can go on in this. And he brought in the priests and the Levites and gathered them together into the east street and said unto them, hear me, ye Levites, sanctify now yourselves and sanctify the house of the Lord your God, the Lord God of your fathers, and carry forth the filthiness out of the holy place. So everything we read on a physical level, it actually happened. But you're supposed to receive this, you're supposed to open up your mind. And you're supposed to look at this on a spiritual level too, man. You're supposed to look at this and apply it on a spiritual level. You have carnal, worldly sanctuary, then you have Yahweh Shah, right? You have the physical Ark of the Covenant, then you have Yahweh Shah. You have the bread that they put upon the table of showbread, then you have Yahweh Shah, the true bread. You have a physical temple. We are the spiritual temple, the body of the Lord. You have physical filthiness. And God knows what that was, man. It could have been anything, right? And he took all of the filthiness out the house of the Lord and cast it out, right? And you want to make sure that you know, brothers have to make sure they're ruling over their house, man. Let me get this quick precept. I'm going to pass it, right? This is chapter 27 and 3. Unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Lord, his house shall soon be overthrown, right? So if you don't hold yourself diligently and looking for the filth in your house to get rid of, the Most High is going to cast you out, man, and overthrow you. You have to find the filth. The filth is not going to come to you and say, hi, I'm the filth. I've been hiding in the back, right? Ha. Then he ducks back off. You got to seek out the filth, man, and get rid of the filth. And you can't wait to do it, man. If you have and the filth could be a demon, it could be a lust demon. The house could be your vessel. The house could be with your woman and your children, right? It could be a slothful spirit. It could be a spirit of pride and worldly behavior. You have to, as a man of the Lord, refine the filth and remove it at the house. You got it, King.
Calm. And I want to touch on that, right? It's the book of Leviticus, right? Chapter 14 and verse number 35, right? I'm going to start at 34. It says, when you be coming to the land of Canaan, which I give to you for possession, and when I put the plague of leprosy in the house of the land of your possession, and he that owneth the house shall come and tell the priest, saying, it seemed to me there as it were a plague in the house. Then the priest shall command that they empty the house. Now the priest, you have to understand, like the brother was going into, all of this is spiritual, man. Our high priest is Yahweh Shah the righteous. You got a plague in your house, that could be a plague in your congregation. That could be a plague in your general house where your wife is, your children, you understand, whatever the case may be, your brethren. If you got a plague in your house, it says verse 35, and he that owneth the house shall come and tell the priest. We have to come before the Lord, man. You can't fix this carnal problem on your own with drinking, with just watching TV, of getting counsel from your damn uncle, man. You have to go before the high priest, right? It says, say it seemeth to me as it were a plague in the house. Then the priest shall command that they empty the house before the priest go into it and see the plague, that all that is in the house be not made unclean. And afterward, the priest shall go in to see the house. So you have to empty that thing out, man. You have to look at all of the things that are in it, whether it be spirits, demons, grudges, all of the manner of things of lewdness and vanity. You got to get that thing out. See, I wish I could properly come in and heal the house, man. You understand? And that's what our forefathers understood on a physical and spiritual level. Nobody cares when they're going to see a house if a doorknob is loose. Oh, I can repair that on my own. I could do that's a little mold on the wall. I'll be okay. Where do I sign? No, a real man is going to say, well, that needs to be fixed. That has to be handled. These things have to be in order. When you go to 2 Kings chapter 18, right, and verse number 4, picking up, it says he removed the high places and break the images and cut down the groves and break in pieces the brazen serpent that Moses had made, man, because they were worshiping it. All the children of Israel were committing idolatry, man, and they were going off. So Hezekiah, when he preceded the throne, he went hard for the Lord, man. He took down all of those high images and witchcraft and things that were stumbling blocks and things that needed to be repaired. He handled them, man. It says, break the brazen serpent that Moses had made, for unto those days the children of Israel did burn incense to it, and he called it Nershathana, right? Paraphrasing. Right. So, I mean, when Hezekiah came into this thing, he broke down images. He actually set it up his first year like the brother was going into.
And I want to get this precept because we kind of talked about it. Right. But this is I'm going to get Romans 7 and 14. I'm going to get the classic. Right. This is the book of Romans, chapter 7 and 14. It reads, for we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. So that's why everything that we can go into in the law or in the Old Testament through the Spirit, you should be able to, like we brought out earlier, look at the spiritual aspect of it. And you ask yourself a question, how can I apply that to my life and my walk in His truth? Right? That's why we read. Right? The Lord said, whatsoever things were written aforetime were written not for your entertainment, not for you to just say you read a few chapters today, not for you to say, okay, I finally read, okay, now what's next? This is written for you to learn. This teaches you. It's not a guy with, with a professor, he's writing down and, okay, class, today we're going to learn about, no, the scriptures teach you through the Spirit. And you have to read and say, okay, he did this, I have to do that. He removed the filthiness, where is my filthiness? He broke down high places. What am I exalting before the Most High? What am I putting before the Most High? He broke it down physically. What can I break down? What can I repair? That's why the law is spiritual, right? I want to get this as well in Hebrews. Actually, let me get this real quick. Let me get this other quick precept. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 42 and verse 23, right? Ecclesiasticus chapter 42 and 23. I'm going to start at 22. Oh, how desirable are all his works, and that a man may see even to a spark. All these things live and remain forever for all uses, and they are all obedient. All things are double one against another, and he hath made nothing imperfect. So all things are double one against another. Things are going to have a physical understanding, and if you have a mind that's keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, you're going to be able to see these things with your spiritual eye, the eyes of your understanding, right? The Lord, that's in Ephesians, the first chapter. So you have your carnal eyes and a carnal man. Okay, they broke this. They broke the staff, and okay, then he repaired, and you picture him with a hammer, and that's fine. But now you have to think about it on a spiritual level, that we are the house, and that our nation is the house, and this is spiritual. It's not just carnal. And not only is it spiritual, this is practical knowledge. Practical knowledge is knowledge that can be practiced in your life to benefit you to get to the kingdom, right? That's practical knowledge. And that's what these scriptures are about, man. It's about taking this knowledge and you find out, how can this be practiced in my life? Can I practice this amongst my children and my wife? Or can I practice this in the workplace? Can I practice this? Am I walking the truth? How can this be practiced as I grow in the knowledge of the Most High God? So this is why we go into these accounts, because this is more profitable than knowing all of the in-depth breakdowns, right? What good, and we say it probably every lesson, what good is knowing the 70 weeks, man, going to do for you when you have stumbling blocks in your life? What are you going to count the 483 years one by one? Your marriage is falling apart. Your woman is about to leave you. Your children despise you. And only thing you know is the flying road, right? In Zechariah 5. You just keep going to the flying road. And you're trying to break it down to save your man. You tell your woman, look, babe, but you know, and all you know is the flying road. And that can't do nothing for you, man. You know? Or the woman with the wind in her wings, man, carrying the ephah, man. Look, you the ephah, and I'm the. That's not going to help your marriage, brother. So you have to take this and apply it, right? But you got it, Dariah. I just want to bring that up.
Right, is the book of Deuteronomy, right? Chapter 17, and I'm gonna start at verse number 18, because it's very important how a king is supposed to move, man. The Lord gave you proper understanding. It's not where you just guess, well, I want to be this type of king because my father, he did this and he did that. Well, according to the law, you understand there's a righteous way how to be a king, and the Lord set that thing down. You have righteous kings, you got wicked kings. Essentially, we're all kings, man. You understand? But then you got men that smoke weed, they do God knows what, they're on drugs, they abusing women. And you got righteous men that read the scriptures and apply what it is that the Lord told you. This Deuteronomy 17 and verse number 18. And it shall be when he sitteth upon the throne of his kingdom that he shall write him a copy of this law in a book out of that which is before the priests, the Levites. So the king is commanded to read the words of the Lord all the days of his life, man. He's not supposed to be upon the throne, and he doesn't know how to execute judgment. That's why Solomon asks for wise understanding. You understand, and counsel and wisdom, so that he could lead the people as they come in and as they go out. You understand? So he could be able to judge matters and be prudent. What good is it to be a king and you have no understanding to rightly divide the word of truth? It says a copy of this law in a book out of that which is before the priests, the Levites. And everybody want to be a king and a priest, you understand? But I mean, are you even reading every day? Are you even praying every day? Do you know how to execute judgment? If a brother stole something, and are you just going to condemn him to death? Do you know the laws on stealing? Do you know the laws, you understand, on death and judgment and how many witnesses and unsolved murders? These are the things that kings were supposed to know, man. Everybody, you can't call yourself a king and you're not doing the things that the kings did, man. It says, and it shall be with him, and he shall read therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear the Lord his God. You understand? Like Uzziah, his heart got lifted up, man. He forgot about the Lord. So you can't be having your heart lifted up, doing God knows what, being reprobate, going back and forth. These are the things that's supposed to check you. Because who could check the king but the Most High, man? I mean, think about it. Nathan had to come to David a certain way. Nathan didn't come with a big microphone, man, and scream in David's ear. He had to subtly break down what he did was wrong in the parable. So nobody could just come before the king, kick down his door, you understand, and start getting on him, man. That man could be banished. He could be killed. You understand? He could be locked up. Things can happen to you. So we're supposed to check you and keep you in line with understanding and judgment. It's supposed to be the laws and commandments of the Lord. It says, and it shall be with him, and he shall read therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear the Lord his God, to keep all the words of this law and these statutes, to do them, that his heart be not lifted up. And what happened to Uzziah, man? His heart got lifted up. He started burning, started waving, and started going off, man. And then you had, I believe, what was it, about 80 men? Something to that extent.
Yeah, right. About 80 Azariah, the priest.
Right, yeah, you had about 80 men, the priest. This don't pertain to you, man. What are you doing? You're going off, man. Because you start feeling like you could do anything. And when you get this knowledge and understanding and start getting built up in this truth, don't let your heart perceive who you really are, man. You're a servant. You understand? You're a prisoner unto the Lord. Bond in his bonds to do the will of the Lord until your death or until you get beamed up. It says that his heart be not lifted up above his brethren, and that he turn not aside from the commandment to the right hand or to the left, to the end that he may prolong his days in his kingdom, he and his children in the midst of Israel. Right? So if you're the top or the head of something, you got to be the most humblest, man. You understand? So that's why the Lord put this in the law, and the men that are kings have to be well versed and learned.
God. This is I'm gonna read this real quick in Titus before I go back to Chronicles. This Titus chapter 2 and 6. Young men likewise exhort to be sober-minded, and all things showing thyself a pattern of good works, and doctrine showing uncorruptness, gravity, sincerity, sound speech that cannot be condemned, that he that is of the contrary part may be ashamed, having no evil thing to say of you. And the part I want, it says, and all things showing thyself a pattern of good works. So the pattern of good work, a pattern is something that repeats itself, right? You can see a pattern as something because you find that trend or that detail or that color sticks out or the shape or whatever the case may be. And it's something that repeats itself over and over. These kings, certain kings had different patterns. And you can study that, man. You can study, like the brother said, what did Uzziah do? Okay, his heart was lifted up. He began to be proud. What did Hezekiah do? Okay, he showed his house and his secrets to the heathen, right? He gave his goods to an unprofitable nation. What did Josiah do? What did David do? Right? So you want to look at these men, and there's a pattern that these men do, right? And you can learn a lot from detectives do that, man. When they looking for a killer, he has particular patterns that he does. He may always kind of leave a note, right, with a damn riddle on it, right? That's his MO, right? Or this guy, he lights houses on fire. You'll notice a pattern that he's always the one when the police show up watching the fire on the house, man. People have patterns, and you have to learn from their patterns. You have to read about Hezekiah and look at everything he did and say, okay, I have to take that. Look at Josiah, look at Uzziah, all of the kings, and you make yourself a king, man. Right? Now, the brother said that we are kings, which we are. And that's a term that's used all throughout the men of Israel. Shalom, Malak, Shalom, king. And the brother's doing God knows what, man. I want to kind of think about who I'm calling a king now, man.
Right.
Because are you really a king, or are you just Ak? Right? Shalom, Ak. Right, and then maybe when you have traits and you're moving in the spirit, then maybe brothers are kings, man. Now we know we're all unworthy, but if a brother is just going the hell off and freaking off in the night, then is that brother really a king? Can you call him a king? Would you call Nabal a king? Would you call Judas Iscariot a king? Would you call the fools of the sons of Israel kings? No. You understand? Would you call Korah, Dathan, and Abiram kings? You wouldn't even call them priests, man. Not even all Israel. The Lord don't even call Israel, man. So I want to go back to Chronicles real quick. This is 2nd Chronicles, chapter 29, and I'm gonna read 36 real quick. 2nd Chronicles 29, and I'll read 35. And also the burnt offerings were in abundance, with the fat of the peace offerings and the drink offerings for every burnt offering. So the service of the house of the Lord was set in order. He had everything set in order. A king has things in order, man. He has schedules, right? He has plans and agenda. He's motivated. He has vision. And guess what? He's going to put everything where it needs to go, man. Now, if you're a king, you have to ask yourself, do you have everything in order? Right? Or is every day you can't find your shoes? Right? Every day, your woman is somewhere, you don't even know where she's at. She comes in any time of the night, smelling like Polo Red, and you own no Polo Red. Right? Or your children, your daughter is just out there with Rel and them. Right? Melly and T, and your son out there doing God knows what, man, thinking about being a cheerleader. You want to make sure as a king, you have everything in order, man. Or do you walk in the room and your woman just do this? You know the drill. Take out the trash, right? And you put your head down, okay, right? And you tuck your fritters in to go take out the trash. And that's not a king, man. Brothers have the hardiest, mightiest shalom amongst brothers, and they go home and they don't have that spirit, man. So King Hezekiah had everything in order. You have to examine yourself. Do you have everything in order? Right? Verse 36. And Hezekiah rejoiced, and all the people that the Most High had prepared the people. Here's the point I want. For the thing was done suddenly, man. So he moved in haste. And this was a big deal. When you read this account, all of the priests getting them in order, cleansing the temple, repairing the door, doing all of the offerings, the Most High said this thing was done suddenly, man. Right? Meaning he's not sitting around waiting day by day, man, to do the work. A king is not just sitting around waiting weeks to make things happen. Oh, maybe I'll order my apocrypha maybe next week. Maybe 2 months from now, I'll finally get my fringes. Maybe I'll watch that video I've been putting off. Maybe I'll finally go out and maybe hand out flyers to do the work. He said this thing was done suddenly at the drop of a dime. And the Lord said be instant in 2 Timothy chapter 4 and 2. And Hezekiah was instant, man. He did the work of the Most High suddenly. Right? Let me get this other account real quick. And this is why this man wasn't defective. I'm going to jump back up. 2 Chronicles chapter 29 and verse, I'm going to read 6. For our fathers have trespassed and done that which was evil in the eyes of the Lord, our God, and have forsaken him and have turned away their faces from the habitation of the Lord and turned their backs. Also, they have shut up the doors of the porch and put out the lamps and have not burned incense nor offered burnt offerings in the holy place unto the God of Israel. Wherefore the wrath of the Lord was upon Judah and Jerusalem, and he hath delivered them to trouble, to astonishment, and to hissing, as ye see with your eyes. For lo, our fathers have fallen by the sword, and our sons and our daughters and our wives are in captivity for this. Now it is in mine heart. This is what he was thinking about, right? This what was in his mind. Now it is in mine heart to make a covenant with the Lord God of Israel, that his fierce wrath may turn away from us. My sons, be not now negligent, for the Lord hath chosen you to stand before him to serve him, that ye should minister unto him and burn incense. So you see the mind of King Hezekiah. His mind was what? To do the work of the Most High. Tell you that in Nehemiah 4 and 6, right? The people had a mind to work. Some people look at kings and they just see them eating grapes. And they got that big fan, right? The woman with that big leaf, and they just blowing that leaf on them, and they feeding grapes, right? And he's sitting back on the side. Those are the heathen kings. Our kings don't do that, right? Our kings don't live like that. Our kings are warriors, right? They're methodical, visionaries. You understand? Servants of the Most High, repairers of the people. And you want to move in that same spirit, man. You have to ask yourself, what's in your mind? Are you thinking about lust? After this live, what are you going to do, man? What are you thinking about? Are you going to go just watch the big game when you haven't read or studied? Is it in your mind to fast? Is it in your mind to make a covenant with the Most High and say, look, I'm done smoking weed. I'm done lusting. I'm done doing this. I'm done being slothful. What is in your mind, man? And what was in Hezekiah's mind? To make a covenant with the Lord, and then he did it. It's not that he was just thinking about it and he just let it drift off. It was in his mind and he executed it, man. You got it, King.
Khan is right. And as a man thinketh, so is he, man. So you got to think these things and execute them as a man of the Lord, man. Right? Then you got wicked kings all throughout the Bible. It's so many wicked kings. It's like it's not even a damn balance, man. The wickedness just is outrageous. This 1 Kings 16, verse number 8, it said, in the 20th and 6th year of Asa, king of Judah, began Elah, the son of Bashar, to reign over Israel and Tisra 2 years. And his servant Zimri, captain of half of his chariots, conspired against him. And as he was in Tisra, drinking himself drunk in the house of Ezra, steward of his house in Tisra, right? So he was in the house getting drunk, man. He's a king. Now, what are you doing getting drunk? What are you doing? Your mind's not on the ordinances of the Lord. What are you doing not reading the words of the Lord, man? You have a king just getting drunk, being lazy, man. And that's what men do on a spiritual level. They go home, they kick their feet up, They started drinking, and half of them start smoking, man. They cut on a big game. They cut on God knows what, and they binge watch, and they are not occupied in the work of the Lord, man. And they start to get drunk, thinking that you don't have to read every day. You don't have to pray constantly. You don't have to fast constantly, man. These things keep you alive and your candle lit and burning in the truth. It said this man was drinking himself drunk, right? Verse 10. And Zimri went in and smote him and killed him in the 20th and 7th year of Asa, king of Judah, and reigned in his stead, man. So he took his spot when he was drunk. And the Lord will remove you out of being a king, remove you from your place of understanding, and somebody else could come right in, man. Because you're drunk. You're not on fire. You're not diligent. You're not reading. You're not praying. You're not doing anything, right? You're taking this thing for granted. This man was taking his slot for granted. He was just a wicked king, getting drunk, having a blast, doing what as he pleases, and not being diligent and watching, man. That's what the Lord says, keep watch all throughout the scriptures. So you have men that you have to watch. Okay, this man, he was a king, the highest thing that you could be in Israel, but yet he got slew because he wasn't on his toes, man. He wasn't vigilant. He wasn't watching. And that could be applicable for the spiritual demon Satan too, man. Because he could come in and smote you when you least expect it. Because you're relaxed and you're at ease and you're doing God knows what in your household, man. You should always have your hand to the plow doing the work of the Lord some type of way. Whether it's meditation, whether it's dreaming about the Most High, praying for visions, whatever it is, you should always be occupied on the precepts, right? This 2 Chronicles 26, right? In verse 16. I quoted it, but I wanted to pull this account. It says, but when he was strong, his heart was lifted up, talking about Uzziah. So when you get strong and the Most High set you up and establish you, whether that be with wisdom, whether he give you that job you wanted, you understand, whether he give you finally a wife after you haven't had one for 2, 3, 4 years, whatever the case may be, finally give you a child. You've been praying that the Most High open up your wife's womb, or that you conceive, you understand, as a woman, whatever the case may be. Your heart get lifted up to your destruction. For he transgressed against the Lord his God and went into the temple of the Lord to burn incense upon the altar of incense. Now, Uzziah wasn't just born yesterday, man. He knew the law. He knew what it was and what it took. He knew the ordinances. He knew the statutes. And a lot of men know the ordinances and statutes, man. You're not supposed to be slothful. You're not supposed to smoke. You're supposed to execute righteous judgment. You're supposed to not be faint-hearted in judgment. You know these things, but you still go against it anyway, man, because your heart's lifted up, the all you have. Or the Lord hasn't touched you yet, man. Don't think just because the Lord ain't touched you that the Lord won't get up with you, man. Just because the Most High didn't judge you for what you did, or you got away with it, or it's the nighttime, or nobody checked you, don't mean the Most High not gonna get up with you. It says, and Azariah the priest went in after him, and with him 80 priests, right? 80 men of the Lord that were valiant men. So they're rushing behind him, man. You got to think this. You got to paint this picture out. You got this man walking with his damn chest out. You got 80 men chasing behind him. It says, and they withstood Uzziah the king and said unto him, it appertaineth not unto thee, Uzziah, to burn incense unto the Lord, but to the priests, the sons of Aaron, that are consecrated to burn incense and to go out of the sanctuary. Right? Thou hast trespassed, neither shall it be for thine honor from the Lord God. Then Uzziah was wroth. Don't be a king, or don't be set up in a high place where nobody could get up with you and check you, man. You're supposed to need counselors. You're supposed to need direction and hope. Don't be that brother that you know everything and nobody could talk to you. Nobody could check you. Nobody could give you counsel. Nobody could speak to you. You're going off, man. And that's when your heart get lifted up to the point where you start it to be a downfall. And a lot of brothers do that with their wives. Shut up. I'm always right. Be quiet. Sit down. Jump. Sit. Right? Like a damn dog, man. Going the hell off. And brother, your heart get lifted up, man. Or you get a little bit of what do they call it? Rank, or you start, people look up to you, or you become an elder, or whatever it is, man. Right? Or whatever it may be. And then you start to lose your head and your mind. You don't want to move in that type of spirit. It says, then Uzziah was wroth and had a censer in his hand to burn incense. And while he was wroth with the priest, the leprosy even rose up in his forehead before the priest in the house of the Lord from beside the incense altar. And don't ever get to the point where your heart get lifted up so much that you can't see plainly the words and statutes of the Lord, to where it be your downfall and destruction.
God damn leprosy on your forehead, man. And that could be like and that's a spirit, could be a demon. Just the most I can just put a demon on you, man. In the middle of your pride, you have a demon just sent on you. And now you start doing God knows what, man. Right? And that can happen to a brother. Oh, that just happened. I can't get leprosy no more. I have hygiene. Hey, all right, well, brother, keep moving in that spirit if you want to, man. You're going to have this big white circle in the middle of your forehead, man. And everybody's going to flee from you. And you're going to have these spirits on you. Right? I want to get this account. And I love Kings, man. Kings has so much. Every time I read Kings, I'm either shaking my head, like, I can't believe, why would you do this? Right? Or I'm looking at certain men and I'm saying, okay, that's all praise to the Most High. Right? This is this is 2 Kings chapter 16, and I'm gonna read verse 10. It reads, now remember, we read in Sirach 49, I believe in 4, there's only 3 kings that were righteous. That's King David, King Hezekiah, and King Josiah. You may say, well, I thought Josiah did this. Well, didn't David? Well, hey, that's what the Most High said. The Most High said those men were righteous, right? And they weren't defective. Now, 2 Kings 16:10. Then King Ahaz went to Damascus to meet Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, and saw an altar that was at Damascus. And King Ahaz sent to Urijah the priest the fashion of the altar. So he saw this heathen altar. So I'm loving that. Y'all know the altar we have and the work that we have to do and the service that the Most High set up. But look at that heathen altar. Wow. And then he copied the blueprint of it, gave it to the priest, right? It says, King Ahaz sent to Urijah the priest the fashion of the altar and the pattern of it according to all the workmanship thereof. So he had the height, he had the weight, right? He knew how long it was. And Urijah the priest built an altar according to all that King Ahaz had sent from Damascus. So Urijah the priest made it against King Ahaz came from Damascus. And when the king was come from Damascus, the king saw the altar, and the king approached to the altar and offered thereon. So he's not offering on the altar the Most High. He didn't do the work for the Most High, but he's putting that work in on the left-hand side, right, for the altar of the heathen, which is completely off, right? Reading on. And he burnt his burnt offering and his meat offering and poured his drink offering and sprinkled the blood of the peace offerings upon the altar. He brought also the brazen altar, which was before the Lord, from the forefront of the house, from between the altar and the house of the Lord, and put it on the north side of the altar. So he's just reshifting and moving all of the things of the Most High. He's literally causing disorder in the house of the Most High. The Most High has everything done and has everything placed in a particular manner. He's shifting everything around, causing confusion. Right? Read on. And King Ahaz commanded Urijah the priest, saying, upon the great altar, burn the morning offering. It's like it burned the morning burnt offering and the evening meat offering and the king's burnt sacrifice and his meat offering and the burnt offering of all the people of the land and their meat offering and their drink offerings, and sprinkle upon it all the blood of the burnt offering and all the blood of the sacrifice, and the brazen altar shall be for me to inquire by. And so this he said the brazen altar is for me to inquire by, right? Meaning I'm gonna use it and I'm gonna just use it as a god. I'm gonna ask it questions. I'm gonna bow down to it, and I'm gonna seek guidance from the altar. And then a wicked altar, I'm gonna go hard on that. All right, I'm gonna go hard and do all of these burnt offerings and do all of the work I'm supposed to do on the right hand side. I'm gonna give all my strength into evil. And this is what he did. Anything that was supposed to be profitable for the Most High, he disregarded it and went hard and gave their strength into things that were unprofitable and went hard on the left hand side. Right? Reading on. It reads, thus did Urijah the priest according to all that King Ahaz commanded. And King Ahaz cut off the borders of the bases and removed the laver from off them and took down the seat from off the brazen oxen that were under it, and put it upon the pavement of stones. And certain men just break houses down, man, and shift stuff up, bring doctrine, cause confusion, cause disorder, and corrupt the house of the Most High. Here he has completely turned the house of the Lord upside down based off what he saw in the heathen. He moved the altar here. He started worshiping this. He started giving his strength unto evil. And instead of serving the Most High on the right-hand side, he decided to freak off and be like the Assyrians, man. And certain men do that. They know they're supposed to read a particular amount of times a day, or fast maybe once, twice a week, but they give their strength over to their job, or they give their strength over to their women, right? Or they give their strength over to money, or their strength over to weed. And as hard as they're supposed to go on the right-hand side, they do it on the left-hand side, man. Like Uriah went into men drinking themselves drunk, men getting proud. This is men just causing disorder and discord in the house of the Lord and confusion, man. And then he had a man following him. It says Uriah did according to all that the king commanded. Right? You can't just be following blindly either, man. And somebody said like TD Snakes. Yeah, this reminds me of Christianity, man. Right? They take everything holy and turn it upside down and corrupt it and make it damn wicked, man. He literally said, I'm going to inquire at the altar. When did the Most High say inquire at the altar? But do all of the offerings on a heathen altar. Sacrifice your time, sacrifice your hours, sacrifice your sleep to do what the heathen do. And brothers do that, man. You working 15 hours. That's you sacrificing at their altar. You're picking up extra shifts at the so-called white man's job when you know you have enough already. You just love working. You haven't read, you haven't studied. That's you sacrificing on the heathen altar. You haven't fasted, but you're hanging out with your coworkers in happy hour. You're going out the way to buy weed, damn 30 miles away from where you live, man. You're driving an hour and 15 minutes every other day to get weed, man. Those are your sacrifices on that heathen altar. Right, but you got it, King.
Come on. Yeah, you don't want to go off, man. That's off. It's the book of 2 Kings, right? Chapter 18 and verse number 30. 2 Kings 18 and 30. It says, neither let Hezekiah make you trust in the Lord, saying, the Lord will surely deliver us, and this city shall not be delivered into the hand of the king of Assyria. Hearken not to Hezekiah, for thus saith the king of Assyria, make an argument with me by a present, and come out to me, and then eat ye every man his own vine, and every one his fig tree, and drink ye every one the water of his cistern, until I come and take you away to a land like your own land, a land of corn and wine, a land of bread and vineyards, a land of oil, so like your olive oil and honey, that ye may live and not die. And hearken not to Hezekiah when ye persuaded you, saying, the Lord will deliver us, right? Jumping all the way down, right, to verse number 19. Because they were supposed to get taken.
I'm not sure what happened to the brother, right? But they were, man. They were supposed to be taken captive. But I'm gonna let the brother go back and finish his point. But I'm gonna come back to this. I want to jump up real quick and 2 Chronicles chapter 33. Right? This is 2 Chronicles chapter 33 and 1. Right? Lord willing, the brother come back. That was Satan. But it reads, Manasseh was 12 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 55 years in Jerusalem, but did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. Anytime you read in Kings, you'll either see this man did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, or that man did which was evil in the sight of the Lord. Right? It reads, like unto the abominations of the heathen, whom the Lord hath cast out before the children of Israel. For he built again the high places which Hezekiah his father had broken down. Right? Let me read that again. He built again the high places which Hezekiah his father had broken down. And he reared up altars for Baalim, and made groves, and worshipped the host of heaven, and served them. Also, he built altars in the house of the Lord, whereof the Lord had said, in Jerusalem shall my name be forever. And he built altars for all the hosts of heaven and the two courts of the house of the Lord. So this man is the worst king. This is my opinion. You can say, well, I don't like Ahaz. Well, I don't like the way that Amaziah did it. Well, Manasseh is off. His father broke down the altars and he said, hell no, I'm gonna go build it back up. It's like a man that repents for his sin and repents for his wickedness and then builds back on that wickedness and fortifies his evil, man. And this man built heathen altars in the house of the Lord, man, to the host of heaven. In the temple, he has his own altar, bringing offerings to the spiritual demon Satan. This is a Jake. You would have thought this was an Edomite, man. 2 Chronicles 33:6. And he caused his children to pass through the fire. So he was into child sacrifice too. He passed his children through the fire to Molech. Right? It reads, and his children to pass through the fire in the valley of the son of Hinnom, and he observed times and used enchantments and used witchcraft and dealt with familiar spirits and with wizards. So this man was dealing with, he was just freaking off, man. Wizards. And he wrought much evil in the sight of the Lord to provoke him to anger. And if you're dealing with wizards, your mind is bad. Right? And he set a carved image, the idol which he had made in the house of God, which the Most High had said to David and to Solomon his son, in this house and in Jerusalem, which I have chosen before all the tribes of Israel, will I put my name. Right? So that, these are different men who did not fear the Lord. And he had a plethora of downfalls: wizardry, idolatry. He was observing the times, which is like modern day astrology. His own children, he put them through the fire. Right? And that's the son of a righteous king, man. But you got it, king.
Khan Salaki, that was Satan. Right? It's the book of 2 Kings, right? And I'm gonna pick up where I left off, right? So you had Sennacherib, right? Them threatening to take down and destroy and all hell breaking loose. You would have any man, if he's not strong in the Lord, he's gonna faint. Or he's gonna do God knows what. He's gonna bow down. He's gonna flee. You understand? Well, he's not gonna take care of business as he should, man. Let's see what Hezekiah did. This is 2 Kings 19 and verse 1. And it came to pass when King Hezekiah heard it, that he rent his clothes and covered himself with sackcloth and went into the house of the Lord. That's like hearing somebody's on their way right now with 1,000 so-called guns and 1,000 this, and they coming to invade your house, man. And they're on their way, and you can hear them, or you got the letter, or whatever the case may be. A lot of people, they'll physically run to their little safety box, which what in it, man. Or they'll run to call their uncle up, man. Or they'll call their brothers up. Or they'll go carnally and use their mind to lead them. What did Hezekiah do? It says, and it came to pass when the king Hezekiah heard it, that he rent his clothes and covered himself with sackcloth and went into the house of the Lord, man. So he went to the temple. That was his first estate, or his first thought is to go before the Lord, man. And when David's wives were kidnapped, what was David's first thought was? To inquire before the Lord, man. And that's very hard to do when you're stressed out, man. Because when you're stressed and your back is against the wall, your mind's going to try to think things fast. You're going to have 1,000 thoughts coming to your brain. Grab this, call this person, run, flee, do this, jump, fight. It's going to be 1,000 things going on, and nobody wants to think or inquire before the Lord. The Lord is going to lead you and tell you. Jumping down to verse 20. Then Isaiah, the son of Amos, sent to Hezekiah, saying, Thus saith the Lord of Israel, that which thou hast prayed to me against Shebnezer, king of Assyria, I have heard. And this the word that the Lord has spoken concerning him, the virgin, the daughter of Zion, have despised thee and laughed thee to scorn. The daughter of Jerusalem have shaped her head at thee, whom thou hast reproached and blasphemed, against whom thou hast exalted thy voice and lifted up thine enemies, so like their eyes on high, even against the Holy One of Israel. By thy messengers thou hast reproached the Lord, and hast said, with the multitude of my chariots I am come up to the height of the mountains, to the sides of Lebanon, and will cut down the tall cedar trees, therefore, and choice fig trees thereof, and I will enter into the lodging of his borders, and into forest of Carmel. So he had this king, man, and all of his pride, trying to come down, break down the fortress, and invade the high mountains which we dwelt on in our land, saying, don't regard the king Hezekiah. So this heathen was trusting in what? His understanding. He was trusting in his military might, right? Like it's saying, 2 Maccabees 8 and 18. Let me get this real fast. That's what the heathen's mind go to. The 2 Maccabees 8 and 18. For they say he trusts in their weapons and boldness. So the so-called white man, these Assyrians, right? All of these different nations, they trust in their weapons because their mentality is, well, if I have the ICBM missile, then I have 2 ICBM missiles and I can win. Their mind and their trust and their spirit is in what they have carnally. It isn't anything spiritual, man, right? It says, for they say he trusts in their weapons and boldness, but our confidence is in the Almighty God, who at a beck can cast down both them that come against us and also all the world. So we trust in the Most High, man. Hezekiah didn't immediately say, well, how many swords and battle axes and helmets and bucklers do we have? How many fortresses do we have? How many ladders and all of these things do we possess? He didn't say that. He went before the Lord, and his prayer went up for protection from the Most High.
And I want to add to that and get another account of one of our kings real quick. Right, this is 2 Chronicles chapter 23, and I mean this whole chapter is good. I'm gonna just get the 2 Chronicles 24. Right, they both go hand in hand. This 2 Chronicles chapter 24 and 1. Joash was 7 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 40 years in Jerusalem. His mother name also was Zibiah of Beersheba. And Joash did that which was right in the sight of the Lord all the days of Jehoiada the priest. Now, that's important because this king, he did that which was right in the Lord. But guess what? It says all the days of Jehoiada the priest. Now, when this priest wasn't around, which we'll show you, he started freaking off, right? And they started rebelling, and the kingdom started falling apart. You can't sit there and be the brother when you are only righteous or keeping the commandments because your family's in this truth, right? Or your brother or your woman. Your woman, she kind of making you watch, and you just watching the videos because your woman watching the videos, right? Or vice versa. Or your husband made you kind of watch a few videos and you kind of keep the Sabbath because he's around, right? Or you make the kids put fringes on because you don't want to. You really don't. But you're just doing it because somebody's making you do it, huh? Right? Are you really in this thing because you want to be in this thing? Or are you in this thing because you're forced, huh? This says Joash did that which was right all the days of Jehoiada the priest, huh? Right? Let me get this in the book of Job, chapter 27. Right? Let me get this real quick in Job, chapter 27. And no man is going to make me serve the Most High, huh? And keep the commandments, right? Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, that's who I serve, man. I'm sure Araya can speak for herself and me as well. We're not just doing this. Oh, Araya, I haven't seen him and since the Shabbat, right? I'm gonna do the live because he's gonna be on there. That's off. And then once Araya leaves the live, I go back and do God knows what in the dark. Right? Or brothers on a comment board, all praises, Kwam Yasha Allah. Then as soon as the live goes down, you take that blunt from behind your ear and start smoking it, man. Right? This is Job chapter 27 and verse 4. It reads, my lips shall not speak wickedness, nor my tongue utter deceit. God forbid that I should justify you till I justify you. Till I die, I will not remove mine integrity from me. So a real king has integrity. A real king, he's going to serve the Most High, rather he's by himself, rather he's in a FEMA camp by himself, rather he's a pilgrim on the earth, rather he's at the workplace by himself, right? A lot of people are wicked at work, man. You know, your co-workers talking about damn lewdness and sex all day, man, and you just feeding into it, right? And giving into it. And then you tuck your fritters on and you a nigga at work, man. You're somebody, you're damn Terrell at work, but at camp you're Barnabas, right? You're Barnabas bound lawyer at camp, and you're known as a mighty reader in Israel, but in damn at damn Costco or Walmart in the back of the warehouse, you're damn Tyrell, man, who always got the beats on. The Lord isn't dealing with the beats. Work is dry till you show up and you got the beats. The Lord is not dealing with brothers that only serve the Most High when men are around. Yes, men pleasers. You know, reading on. And that's what integrity is what? Having a sincere spirit to serve Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, no matter what's around you or who's around you. It reads, my righteousness I will hold fast and will not let it go. My heart shall not reproach me so long as I live. So let me go back to real quick in 2 Chronicles chapter 24 and 2. And Joash did that which was right in the sight of the Lord all the days of Jehoiada the priest. Right? And I'm gonna read on. And Jehoiada took for him 2 wives, and he begat sons and daughters. And it came to pass after this that Joash was minded to repair the house of the Lord. So when this man was around, he had the mind to repair the house of the Lord, right? He said, look, and that speaks a lot about Jehoiada, right? And the influence he had. But nevertheless, this man said, I'm going to repair the house of the Lord, and I'm going to make sure there's no leaks, there's no cracks, no breaches, no holes. And we always have to have that mentality. A lot of our kings, they were focused on repairing the house of the Lord. Your body's a house, make sure you're repairing it. Now I'm going to jump down. 2 Chronicles chapter 24 and verse 15. But when Jehoiada waxed old and was full of days when he died, and 130 years old he was when he died. So he lived a long life. And they buried him in the city of David among the kings. See that? He's one of the few men to get buried amongst the kings. That's how powerful this man was. It reads, because he had done good in Israel, both toward the Most High and toward his house. Now, here's the point, 2 Chronicles 24 and 17. Now, after the death of Jehoiada, came the princes to Judah and made obeisance to the king. Then the king hearkened unto them, and they left the house of the Lord God of their fathers, and served groves and idols, and wrath came upon Judah and Jerusalem for this their trespass. Yet he sent prophets to them to bring again unto the Lord. It's like it to bring them again unto the Lord, and they testified against them, but they would not hear. You see that? So this man started going off, man. And as you read this account, he began to be a murderer, man. Right? Verse 20. And the spirit of the Most High came upon Zechariah, the son of Jehoiada the priest, which stood above the people, and said unto them, thus said the Most High, why transgress ye the commandments of the Lord, that ye cannot prosper? Because ye have forsaken the Lord, he hath also forsaken you. And they conspired against him, and stoned them with stones at the commandment of the king. Hold on now. That's the man that raised them. The man that brought them to the Most High. The man that was serving the Most High. This Joash was wicked, man. And he slew that man's son. And he had demons on him. Some people, they're in this thing when men are around. And then when those men leave or your women leave or whatever, them demons are really there. That's inside of you, man. He had demons on him, and he began to be a murderer and a blasphemer. I can only imagine what certain brothers in Israel do after camp. right? On certain brothers on the run. I 100% guarantee, not even 98, 100% guarantee, right? Not saying the WFI, but just in Israel, that men are freaking off. You got it, King.
Calm, right? And I'm gonna pull this too. It's 2 Kings chapter 23 and verse number 19, right? Righteous Josiah. The 2 Kings chapter 23 and 19. And all the house also of the high places that were in the cities of Samaria, which the kings of Israel had made to provoke to the Lord to anger, Josiah took away and did to them according to all the acts that he had done in Bethel. And he slew all the priests on the high places that were upon the altars, and burns men's bones upon them, and returned to Jerusalem. Huh? So he went all the way to Samaria. You understand? Now, Judite, you understand, over Jews went to Samaria, burned down all those high places, right, and killed all of the priests, man. And that would take somebody real strong to do that, man. No, a man pleaser or somebody that doesn't care, or you have to understand that Israel, they was moving in a spirit. If you got one wicked king like Jeroboam, then the whole inhabitants thereof was wicked. So if you coming into power and you setting things contrary or you setting things straight, people are going to hate you. I'm pretty sure this wasn't an easy task. Pretty sure people were probably bucking up and yelling. These are probably things, you know, understand that aren't written, but I mean, these things wasn't easy for kings to do, man. It's hard to go against the multitude. Let it be 50 people all smoking and you come up and the Lord told you to do it in your spirit and your mind, whether vision, whether a prophet, you understand, whether he jacked up your spirit with zeal and you go shake down. That's not going to be a easy thing to do. It's not easy going on the highways and byways and rebuking people to their face, man. Right? A lot of people, they watch the videos. Oh, he brought it out. He brought it out. No, anything can happen to us out there, man. We can get shot. We can get stabbed. Right? The police could come and lock us up, man. You know, we can get killed out there, man. Anything can happen to the servants of the Lord that are out there on the highways and byways. So as Josiah went, you understand, all the way to Samaria, he didn't care, man. He broke down everything. And he slew those priests. Now, imagine that, man. You got the wicked man, he running the trap house. He's the damn kingpin. Imagine you coming up and you taking your neighborhood back. You slay the kingpin. You take down this, you take down that. The whole damn neighborhood is going to be in an uproar, man, because it was moving in that wicked spirit. But Josiah didn't care, man. And he slew all the priests on the high places that were upon the altars and burned men's bones upon them and returned to Jerusalem. And the king and the king commanded all the people, saying, keep the Passover unto the Lord your God, as it is written in the book of this covenant, man. So he wasn't playing games. He was setting things straight, kicking down doors, grabbing up men, burning their bones. You got two type of men in this thing, man. And you don't need to make a comparison. You got 55 men. You got the one that studies. Then you got the one that's lukewarm. Then you got the one that half that. No, brother, you either on fire or you're not. The Most High limited it down in the book of Revelations, man. Chapter 3 and verse 15 all the way down. If you're lukewarm, he's going to spew you out of his mouth, man. You cannot be a king and you're sometimes on the throne. You have certain professions where you're on call. Like you have certain doctors, they're on call, man. You got a fireman, they're on call. You have a maintenance man, they're on call. You have certain people that have certain offices that a lot of people can't do when they're in a position to where they have to be on call, man. But if you're in your apartment building and your damn sink starts to damn shoot out in the pipe, and the maintenance man is kicked up watching Friends somewhere, man, or Martin, right? The whole basement could flood, man. Your whole apartment building could flood. You have certain people that have to be on call, meaning they have to always be ready, man. You have to be like that in the spirit, always ready to counsel, lead, direct. Hey, man, tear stuff down if you have to, man. Yeah, I wish I was flipping over tables in the temple, man. And that wasn't an easy thing to anybody understanding the spirit that all of those people were moving in. They had one man to set the record straight. You can't be in this truth and want to be loved, man. You got to be loved and seek love from your Father, which are in heaven, not of the world. And let me pull this quick precept. You got that type of men that don't care and that are not people pleasers, that are set things straight for the Most High. And you got the contrary. This 1 Kings chapter 20 and verse, right? I'm going to start at 2. First Kings 22. And he sent messengers to Ahab, king of Israel, into the city, and said unto him, Thus said Benhadad, Thy silver and thy gold is mine, thy wives also, and thy children, even the goodliness are mine. So you had Benhadad, right? A damn Syrian coming in saying, Look, I'm gonna rob you, man. Everything I want is mine, and I'm gonna take it from you. You got two type of men. Somebody's gonna bow down into it, or somebody's gonna fight. You got two options. You're gonna fight every day in the spirit, or you're gonna bow down. You're gonna break down groves and set things straight like Josiah, or you're not. It says, verse 4, and the king of Israel answered and said, My Lord, O king, according to thy saying, I am thine in all that I have, man. What kind of king is that? What kind of king is going to say, well, whatever you want, whatever you demand, start bowing down, man? And that's how Satan comes to you. Satan's going to come to you and say, everything I want is mine. Your wife is mine. And I'm a manipulator anytime I feel like it. Your children is mine. I'm having running away from damn school and damn doing God knows what in the streets, man. Hey, your vessel is mine. I'm going to make you smoke weed in it. I'm going to make you commit lewd acts in the dark with it. I'm going to make you have wicked lust in it. Hey, your spirits may come to you and say, all that I have is mine. And in the spirit, it said he wanted his silver and his gold, man. And we're kings. And if Satan is coming to us desiring everything we have, like this wicked king, he's going to try to strip you from your gold and your silver and your riches, which is your knowledge and understanding from the Lord. Because the Lord called us rich. Not that we have money, but that we're rich in spirit, rich in understanding, rich in prophecies, right? Reading on. Verse 5. It says, and the messengers came in again, so like it came again and said, Thus speaketh Benhadad, saying, Although I have sent unto thee, saying, Thou shalt deliver me thy silver and thy gold, and thy wives and thy children, yet I will send my servants unto thee in the morrow about this time, and they shall search thine house and thy houses of thy servants, and it shall be with me that whatsoever is pleasant in thine eyes, they shall put it in their hands and take it away, man. You got this heathen king saying, I'm gonna come to your house and I'm gonna rob you, man. That's all. Go ahead.
Quick, and that's what happened when you give heed, man. Oh yeah, I got him. He said, I'm yours. He said, all right, and we're going to take all your stuff too, man.
Torture you.
Right? Yeah.
Right. So I mean, it's getting worse, man. You let somebody slap you one time, now they putting that damn hand around your throat, pushing you into the locker. Right. So this king said, look, I'm about to run down, man. And that's how Satan is, man. You give heed to one spirit and all right, you got me, and I'm depressed, and down, a legion of demons hop on you, man. Right? It says, verse 7, and the king of Israel called all the elders, check this out, of the land and said, Mark, I pray you, and see how this man seeketh mischief. For he sent unto me for my wives, and for my children, and for my silver, and for my gold, and I denied him not. So, I mean, what do you mean you didn't deny him, huh? Josiah would have denied him. King David would have denied him. Hezekiah would have denied him. What type of man are you? Are you the king of your house? It's just not that denying nothing. Your wife doing God knows what. She turning the channel. Then you turn it back. Then she turns it back. Then you turn it back. You have a damn war, man. To the TV bus, man. What's going on, man? Are you denying the spirits, man? Or are you fighting, man? Those are the two type of men that you have to ask yourself for, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's, man, I almost forgot about that account, man. That's something right there. Yeah, that's off, right? This is, I'm going to get two quick precepts, man. Tomorrow I gave him my wives. Come on, what are you talking about, brother? I gave him my woman. Just giving your woman up. Imagine the brother just say, hey, look, come on. Hey, you go ahead. You have your woman. Right? You give your woman up, man. This second Kings. Right, chapter 16, and this king, he moved in a similar spirit, right? 2 Kings 16 and 3 or 2. 20 years old was Ahaz when he began to reign, and reigned 16 years in Jerusalem, and did not that which was right in the sight of the Lord his God, like David his father, but he walked in the way of the kings of Israel. And the kings of Israel, they were off, and made his son to pass through the fire according to the abominations of the heathen, whom the Lord cast out before the children of Israel. And he sacrificed and burnt incense in the high places, and on the hills, and under every green tree. So he went off into idolatry, right? Then Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, king of Israel, came up to Jerusalem to war. Right, and when you're not serving the Most High, you're gonna be plagued by these demons. Don't marvel if you got fired from your job, or your woman committed adultery on you, or you have all of these ailments and pains, and these demons are making war against you because you have forsaken the Most High. This man was forsaking the Lord, and Solomon had peace all his days. The Lord was with David all his days, man. The Lord was with Hezekiah and sent the death angel and killed 185,000 men, man. When you're not serving the Most High, the Lord raises up these spirits against you, man, and they begin to vex you and destroy you. When you're not diligent, when you're not examining yourself, and when you think that you can just get away with every word and every action, no wonder when you damn driving and your car break down out of nowhere. Yeah, that's Satan. But yeah, that's Satan because you're going off, brother. I don't know why this happened to me. I was driving, and all of a sudden, my damn windshield cracked out of nowhere. The Lord is sending these spirits against you, man. Or somebody kind of cut you off the road. Or a spirit, like the brother said, spirit hop on your woman, man, to go against you. And now your woman, she never been like this, but now she's saying curse the Most High and die, like Job's wife, man. That was Satan on Job's wife. So these spirits can hop on anybody, and the Lord sent these heathen king against them, right? It reads, at that time, Slakia, then Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah of Remaliah, king of Israel, came up to Jerusalem to war. And you have to look at, like we went into, look at this on a spiritual level. These demons are raised up against you to war. And they besieged Ahaz, but could not overcome him. At that time, Rezin, king of Syria, recovered Elath to Syria and drave the Jews from Elath. So if you look up a map of Judah, they were eating up the land of Judah, taking it away little by little, right? That's what these heathen kings was doing, eating up the portion of the land. Like a damn spirit could just slowly, now you take away your reading, then take away your virtue. Then he kind of take away your spirit of humility, and he just eats you up little by little. And that's how demons operate, man. Right? They take one part out, then they cut this member off, then that member, then that member. And these heathen kings, they were losing their land little by little. That happened to Northern Kingdom, huh? They lost in 2 Kings, the 15th chapter, they lost this land, Naphtali. They lost this land in 2 Kings 17. They lost this in 2 Kings 17:23. And they began to lose by little and by little. Right? So this king recovered Elath and drave the Jews from Elath, and the Assyrians came to Elath and dwelt there unto this day. So Ahaz, listen to what this man did. And it's kind of led me back where I was going to. So Ahaz sent messengers to Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, saying, I am thy servant and thy son. Right? Is that the way to go? These heathen come against you, you say, I am your son. Yes, dad. Right? Yes, father. I am your servant and your son. How weak can you get? I thought that we were the sons of the Most High. I thought we have one, in Isaiah, we have one father. Right? We all have one father. I'd be damned, even on my worst day ever, to call a heathen king and say, look, I am your son and you are my dad. Whatever you want. You talking about a low, this is a low point right here. And the Lord said, ye are of your father the devil. And the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, in the bold, not in the truth. Certain men, these heathen are your fathers, man. You don't serve the Most High. You're not a son of the Lord. You serve the spiritual demon Satan. And you have confessed that I am thy son. Yeah, I'm going to smoke this weed. Yeah, I'm going to commit adultery. That's you saying, I am your son, Satan. On a spiritual level. I give heed to you. I am thy servant and thy son. That's off. Let me read that again. So Ahaz sent messengers to Tiglath, king of Assyria, saying, I am thy servant and thy son. come up and save me out of the hand. How come he didn't go to the Most High? Because he didn't believe in the Most High. That's what Jake do, man. I can see Jake and Jacob's trouble calling, looking for help from the worldly people. They don't call upon the Most High. I'm gonna go. My neighbor has a gun. Save me. My neighbor I know he has grenades. I know they have, but you're not calling upon the Most High. Right? He says, save me out of the hand of the king of Syria and out of the hand of the king of Israel, which rise up against me. And Ahaz took silver and gold that was found in the house of the Lord and the treasures of the king's house and sent it for a present unto the king of Assyria. You see that? So, this is absolute madness, man. Right? No bowing down to heathen and bowing down to demons and saying that they're your daddy, man. Right? And they can pat you in the back and be your father. To hell with these heathen, man. Like I said, no brother or sister on their worst day should be calling a heathen man damn daddy. I am your son. I am your servant. You got it.
And when you look up son in Google, right, the meaning, right, I don't know if you can see that.
Yep, to be sunned, to be put in place, to feel disrespected or treated childlike. See that? That's what Jake said in the world, man. I'm gonna have to sun you, man.
Yeah.
And then Jake end up, Jake's son you, he end up damn doing whatever to you, man. I had to sun him.
Yeah.
Didn't one brother say, what's that? To boss around, right? Damon told me to pick up his clothes, right? He thought I was gonna let him sun me, man. It's like a brother telling you tie my shoe, man.
God.
Right? There's no way in hell if I ask Dariah or he asks me, hey, look, man, get down and tie my boot. He's not doing it, and I'm not doing it, man. Get down. You know what it is. And then while he tied my boot, he put his damn head on the top of my head, man. Right on my shoulder, on my back, like I'm his son, man. And do this. It's good. What's up, boy? Right? It's my boy right there. And if you let a man do that to you, then shame on you. It's my boy right there. You got it.
Sick for real when you think about it, man.
Yeah, that's sick.
You let another man. You said what?
No, go ahead.
I see you let another man be your damn father, man. Right? And if you let somebody get away with something small, they're going to get away with everything. That's why the Lord said, give no water, no room of passage. Paraphrase. Nor wicked woman liberally to gather abroad, man. You tell your woman, you let her slide with something. Like she said, I'm talking right now. You're interrupting me. You kind of, all right, you got it. Next thing you know, it's going to get worse and wax worse, man. But this is the book of Isaiah, right? I want to touch on this real fast. Chapter 38 and verse number 1, right? Because Hezekiah, he had an illness, man. And in his illness, he didn't turn, from following the Lord. And that'd be hard for a lot of people, man. You got certain things called a bucket list, man. And people just know they're going to die. And instead of reading, praying, and fasting on a worldly tense, they want to ride in a hot air balloon. They want to go go-kart racing with a monkey in the passenger seat. Want to do their wildest fantasies, man. What else, man? They want to go swimming in Jamaica, right? They want to see the world, and they want to do everything to stop serving the Lord, man. What if the Most High told you that you were going to die in 15 days, man? A lot of brothers won't go to sleep. They start sweating. What did I do? And then they'll let them demons and that heart attack and that plague and that vulnerability and all of those things hunt you, man. Because, don't just think demons are on a level to where it's just lust, man, or it's just drunkenness or slothfulness. Hey, demons can emotionally attack you, man. Have you to cry, feel weary. I can't make it. I can't survive. I can't move on. You have certain people that don't get over deaths. You have certain people that they never let their wife go, man. They never let their wife go, man. You got people that sit dust in their damn living room of their grandfather, man. Their grandfather's in the third heaven, didn't have a proper burial, you didn't read the Bible, and he's just dusting around, man, with the thing open. The thing open, the fan on, man. It's dusty in there. Damn grandkids opening up the window, man. Come on, brother. You got to get your life right, man. You got to get your spirit together. Hey, Hezekiah, he was on fire. It said, and this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 38 and verse 1. In those days was Hezekiah sick unto death, and Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amos, came unto him and said unto him, thus saith the Lord, set thine house in order, for thou shalt die and not live. And that's scary, man. And Hezekiah, I mean, he could have had a type of spirit. You know, Job was kind of like, well, what did I do? You know, I was righteous. I don't have any fault. Start justifying yourself. It's 1,000 ways and things you could think, man. I mean, are you going to have a type of spirit to where you come before the Lord and still set your face and fast toward him like Hezekiah? Then Hezekiah turned his face toward the wall and prayed unto the Lord. That was his immediate first reaction, man. When you get bad news, what's your first thought? Is it to do God knows what, man? Is it to flee? Is it to bow down, man? I've seen a lot of people crumble, man. Whether I've heard of it, whether I see videos, or whether I hear accounts, or whether I see it visually, man. You see people bow down. You can say, well, damn, you say within yourself, yeah, I'm going to pray for that brother. You know, hopefully he's strong. But then you kind of think, well, you see what that brother's faith is, man. It doesn't matter to praise the Lord when you have $1 million in your pocket, man. And 3 mansions and a Jaguar. It matters in the fire. That's when you're an acceptable sacrifice, man. You have a burnt offering. Now, we're literally sheep, and we have to be offered upon the altar, man. And we have to catch hell, affliction, turmoil. We have to be put to death, martyrs, whatever the case may be. And we go through fire constantly as a nation of people. Now, we're either going to be received up as holy, or we're going to be received up, you understand, as abominable. And like it says in Leviticus chapter 1 and verse 3, it has to be a voluntary act, paraphrasing, a voluntary worship. Meaning you have to voluntarily want to do this when you offer yourself up. You can't just say, well, I don't feel like going to camp, well, I don't feel like praying, I don't feel like being spiritual, or in the fire of affliction, you have maimed and marred, and then you have perfect. No, brother, you have to be undefiled, a voluntary act of worship. You have to go through that fire, and it has to be acceptable, man. And the Lord, you know, he's not going to tell you how much fire he's going to use. He could turn it up to 7 degrees. He could turn it up to 10 degrees. He could turn it up to 77.7 degrees, man. That's all of the Heavenly Father to turn it up as he will. But in the fire, you got to do what Hezekiah did. Verse 3, and said, remember now, O Lord, I beseech thee, how I have walked before thee in truth and with a perfect heart. So, I mean, if the Lord is going to kill you, man, you have to have something to plead before the Lord and say, man. Like Job said, I wish I knew where the Lord was so I could plead before him. In Job, the 23rd chapter. When you plead to the Lord, what are you pleading, man? Forgive me, forgive me, forgive me all the time, man, because you're going off 24/7? Or are you saying to the Most High, remember that I've been teaching. Remember that I've given my body as a living sacrifice. Remember that I've chosen the right path of righteousness and led and fled, you understand, from wickedness. What are you saying to the Heavenly Father? Or do you have anything to bring before him, huh? It says, with the perfect heart, and have done that which is good in thy sight. And Hezekiah wept sore. Right? Jumping down to verse number 7. And this shall be a sign unto thee from the Lord, that the Lord will do this thing that he hath spoken. Behold, I will bring again the shadow of the degrees which is gone down in the sundial of Asa, right? Ahaz, 10 degrees backwards, so the sun turned 10 degrees by which degrees it was gone down. So, I mean, the Lord restored them, man, and helped them, and literally pled his cause because he was righteous. You understand? Not because, you know, he was tall, or not because he was a king, and because he literally did the work of the Lord, man. And that means a lot when you do the work, because your righteousness shall answer you. Let me get this one last precept. This is what King David said. This is the book of Psalms, right? Chapter 18 and verse number 30. Right? And it reads, Salaki, verse 20. It said, the Lord have rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands have he recompensed me. So you may ask why you're not getting a lot of mercy, why the Most High not hearing your prayers, why the Most High not blessing you with what you're asking for. You may ask yourself, well, why am I stuck in a ditch? Why am I in a pit? Why am I down and bad? And it's for damn 3 or 5 months, man. What's going on in my life? Because the Lord is going to reward you according to the cleanness of your hands or according to your righteousness. So whatever you put out is what the Most High is going to bring back in. So you got to ask yourself, am I going to receive mercy in Jacob's trouble? Yeah, the Lord give mercy unto whom he give mercy, but don't just stay on that one-fold level, man. You should be digging up and obtaining mercy by your works, doing right now so the Lord can have favor on you in the last days.
Con, I had a quick precept on that. This Genesis 30 and 33. So shall my righteousness answer for me in time to come, when they shall come for my hire before thy face. Everyone that is not speckled and spotted among the goats and brown among the sheep, that shall be counted stolen me. You know, so Jacob said that same thing to Laban. He said, so shall my righteousness answer for me in time to come. Not that you bank on your righteousness, but you know, hey, you're storing up treasure in heaven, man. And it's a time to cash. The Most High is going to allow you to cash that up, right? You're stocking and you're investing and putting all into your Yahweh Shem Rashad. Hey, the days are coming where the Most High is going to have you damn cash that thing out, man, for your salvation. Now I want to go to 1 Kings real quick, chapter 21 and 1. It reads, and it came to pass after these things that Naboth the Jezreelite had a vineyard which was in Jezreel, hard by the palace of Ahab, king of Samaria. And Ahab spake unto Naboth, saying, give me thy vineyard, that I may have it for a garden of herbs, because it is near unto my house, and I will give thee for it a better vineyard than it. Or if it seem good to thee, I will give thee the worth of it in money. He said, I want your vineyard. If you don't want to give me that one, I'll pay for it. I'll give you a better vineyard. And Naboth said to Ahab, the Lord forbidded me that I should give the inheritance of my fathers unto thee. And that's the law, right? When you read Leviticus, I believe that's the 25th chapter, right? Let me get this real quick. Leviticus 25, 23. The land shall not be sold forever. This is Leviticus 25 and 23. The land shall not be sold forever, for the land is mine, for ye are strangers and sojourners with me. So you can't just give up your family's land forever, man. It's off. Not like Jake now, you sell your house and all that when a so-called white man comes in, right, for a few dollars. Hey, you're commanded to keep that land within your family. It reads, and Ahab came into his house heavy and displeased. So he got a demon on him because this man wants to keep the law. That shows you how off his spirit was. He wants to keep the law in Leviticus, the 25th chapter. Ahab is heavy and displeased, because the word which Naboth the Jezreelite had spoken to him, for he said, I would not give thee the inheritance of my fathers. And why would you be mad that a brother is not going to give you the inheritance of his fathers? Right? That's something that you command, unless you're off and wicked. Read on. Salakia. And he laid him down upon his bed and turned away his face and would eat no bread. And I could picture this, a soft and effeminate, man. Oh, boy, walking around crying, laying on his bed, probably tucked under the covers, crying because a man doesn't want to give him his land. Now I'm going to jump down to the point, right? Now, when you read this account, which I'm not going to read the whole account, you can read how Jezebel, I'm going to actually read a few more, and you'll see. Verse 5. But Jezebel, his wife, came to him and said unto him, why is thy spirit so sad that thou eatest no bread? Now, this is a king. He had a wicked woman. The Lord said a wicked woman is given to a wicked man, right? That's in the Bible. That's Ecclesiasticus, I believe, 26 and 23. So he had Jezebel, which was a wicked heathen. It reads, she said, why are you sad, you not eat no bread? And he said unto her, because I spake unto Naboth the Jezreelite, and said unto him, give me thy vineyard for money, or else, if it please thee, I will give thee another vineyard for it. And he answered me, I will not give thee my vineyard. And Jezebel his wife said unto him, dost thou not govern the kingdom of Israel? Arise and eat bread, and let thine heart be merry. I will give thee the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. So, I mean, his woman is basically running stuff. His woman is running the show. And, you know, if a situation arose where I'm dealing with a brother, let's say, whatever, I'm dealing with a brother, whatever. And the brother, you know, we had a deal that I was going to buy a car. And I came up short, and he said, hey, look, I'm, sorry, I was going to sell you that car, Naquam, but this guy said he's going to buy it first, right? And then my woman came up to me and said, hey, look, don't worry about it. I'm going to go get that car. That's off, man. And he didn't ask any questions. Well, how are you going to get it? What's going on? Right? Let's read on. It reads, so she wrote letters in Ahab's name and sealed them with this seal, and sent the letters unto the elders, to the nobles that were in the city, dwelling with Naboth. And she wrote in the letters, saying, proclaim a fast, and set Naboth on high among the people, and set 2 men, sons of Belial, before him to bear witness against him, saying, thou didst blaspheme God and the king, and then carry him out and stone him that he may die. So essentially, she put out a hit on this guy. She's going to murder this man in cold blood, and the king, he's not going to say anything about it. He's too busy crying in his bed, eating bread, and he's letting his woman run his house into shambles. I'm going to jump down to the point. 1 Kings chapter 21, and let's see. Bear with me. Right? 1 Kings, I want to get this precept. It says, has been no man whom like Jezreel or Jezebel, who stirred up her husband, man. Right? I may have just overlooked it for sake of time. Yeah, 1 Kings 21 to 25. I'm right there, Salakia. But there was none like unto Ahab, which did sell himself to work wickedness in the sight of the Lord, whom Jezebel his wife stirred up. So you can sell yourself. People talk about selling your soul, and you just think the so-called white man's Illuminati. Why are you thinking about celebrities? You're thinking about record labels. You're thinking about whatever, fame, and a Hollywood Walk of Fame, and men sell their soul, which they do. It says Ahab sold himself. Right? When you sell yourself, somebody owns you, somebody buys you, somebody's running you, and they control you, and they have power over you. Who did Ahab sell himself to? Ultimately to the spiritual demon Satan, but really to his woman, man. Right? He sold himself into his woman and let his woman run the show. A lot of brothers, they say they're kings, but their woman is really running things, man. I can't imagine Uriah's wife saying, or my wife, or another brother's wife, or saying, hey, get up, do the live right now. Go give me a pack of cigarettes. Right? Get up. Oh, boy. And then you get up, and she shut the live off right now. A woman come, she pop up on the camera. While I'm going into the word, she pops up on the camera. You see a big button come and say, this ain't working. And she shut the live off. And we say, hold on. And then you just see me going. And I'm on a comment board talking about bring it out, Uriah. Right? Bring it out. Mighty precept. That's off, man.
Right, your damn hand like this.
Yeah, your hand trying to block, and she fighting you. Then she damn hit you, and then press the button, man. Ahab, he let his woman do that to him. All right, let me read that one more time. But there was none like unto Ahab, which did sell himself to work wickedness in the sight of Yahweh, whom Jezebel, his wife, stirred up. You got to stop letting these spirits stir you up, man. You know how many brothers are dead because a woman stirred them up? Right? They end up shot. Right? I know this one story that just happened. This woman, she was getting into it with a dude or whatever, and she called her brothers. Their brothers didn't know the background of the story. They don't know what happened. And she was wicked. What was she doing? But she stirred up their spirit. And they ran into this guy's house. And this guy ended up shooting her brothers and killing them, man. You know? You can't let a woman stir your spirit up. You can't, and really you can't let anybody, but right now we're speaking about your woman, man. She putting spirits all on you. Now you sad. Then you angry. You only happy when she's happy. Right? You're only mad when she's mad. You know? You're only in the scriptures when she's in the scriptures. She's telling you what to do all the time. Clap. Doing that. Right? Time to brush your teeth. Wash your face. Get in the shower. Take out the trash. Right? Why are you kicking your feet up? Put your shoes over there. And then his wife stirred him up to commit evil, man. You might have a woman. Hey, look, you know, Raya, he really wants, I don't know, he wants all of the money in the camp. Right? He wants all of the money in the congregation and all of Israel. You gonna let him do that? Well, babe, I don't think you gonna let him talk to you like that. Ain't you a man? Ain't you a king? You gonna let him keep bringing them precepts out? Isn't it two of y'all gonna live? Right? So, hey, a woman, and if you weak, and you'll go for that, man. And then cause confusion. So it says, whom Jezebel, his wife, stirred up, and he did very abominably in following idols, according to all things as did the Amorites, whom the Lord cast out before the children of Israel. So you don't want to have your woman stir you up. A real king will show you what kings don't do. They're not drinking themselves drunk. They're not slothful. They're not idle. They're not letting a woman stir them up, man. Right? They're not letting the heathen and demons just rule over them and call themselves sons and I am your servant, I am your son. They're not giving their wives over to the demons and to these heathen. We're showing you what these, they're not just on fire when men are around. Read what these kings were doing, man. You know, you got it, King.
Can you hear me?
Come.
Right? And another thing that kings don't do, you understand, is neglect counsel, man. Right? Like Rehoboam. So you had an account, we about to go into it, where it shows where you neglect counsel, what happens from that, man? And you may be at your wit's end when you don't know what to do. You may acquire before the Lord. And the Lord don't have to answer you the way you want him to. You don't have to put in your dream as soon as you go to sleep that night. The Lord can speak to you through a counsel, man. But you have to exercise everything that is written for the Most High to be able to speak to you, man. You don't want to just exercise one point. Oh, I'm reading this precept. Maybe I just got to go to the precepts. Well, maybe your understanding of what you need to be going into may not be applicable, man. You need another witness. You understand? Don't be confident in the plain way. You need another brother to help you. You understand? To expound or give you counsel. And these are things that you can't neglect and lean on your own understanding. This 1 Kings chapter 12, right, in verse number 6, right? And it reads, and King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon. And if you have anybody that's going to stand before you and it's ancient men and they stood before Solomon, those men wasn't niggas, man. They was wise. They had understanding. And they've been in more than one council, man. I'm led to believe there went over hundreds of councils, man. Those what those men were. They were counselors. Now, if you're a janitor or you're a bus driver, you haven't rode one bus, man. Not going to put on your resume, I rode the hell out of New York Avenue, man. No, you have 15, 20 years of experience because you drive buses every single day. You're a janitor. You mop 97 floors, man. You've done this thing. Solomon's counselors, they counsel Solomon, they counsel matters, and they stood before him. Now, Rehoboam should have known that, you understand? Solomon was in his life, but yet he neglected that. It says, King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon, his father, while he had lived, and said, How do ye advise that I may answer this people? And they spake unto him, saying, If thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever. Now, what happened, man? He neglected that counsel. He gave him rough words. He said he was going to then be a scorpion unto him, paraphrasing, man, and turn it up times 7. which eventually did what? Split the whole kingdom in half, all by not taking heed to counsel. So if anybody could tell you something, you want to soak that game up, man. That don't mean that everything somebody tells you is wise counsel, but you have to rightly divide the word of truth. You have to be able to hear things out. Okay, you know what? Brother gave some good advice, but you know what? I'm going to take what he told me right here, but this may not be applicable for me. I'm going to leave that part off. Now, I may tell a brother what he may need to do. He may say, well, how do you keep your house in order? What do you do? And I may say, you know what? On Wednesdays, I fast. On Thursdays, I do this. On Fridays, I do that. He may say, well, that sounds good. Wednesdays, I could start fasting on Wednesdays. And then maybe Friday, I can't necessarily do what the brother does, on Friday, but I could take what he's doing Wednesday and Thursday. You're taking something from him. If you're proud and you're neglecting it, then the Lord is going to overthrow you, man. Because the Lord speaketh once, yea, twice, and yet man perceiveth it not. It says, and they spake, Salakia, verse 8, but he forsook the counsel of the old men, which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him. And that's the definition of being faint-hearted in judgment, man. Who gives a damn about what your friends think? You think your friends are going to tell you to go in the house to wash? Let's say you damn 17 years old, man. You got a lot of rebellious jakes. Their friends saying, man, nah, hold it down. Let's do this. Let's go over there. Let's do that. And you listening to what your friends are saying. That's going to lead you to get killed, man. That's going to lead you to get kicked out your house, lead you to get jumped, lead you to picking up a weapon and being a follower. It could lead you to joining a gang. Your friends aren't going to counsel you, especially the ones that you grew up with. You just got a mind frame of love and being faint-hearted in judgment and emotional, man. You can't be emotional as a king, man. If you're an emotional king, you're going to do God knows what, man. Your emotions are going to reign over you. You can have somebody come before you, right? They're sitting up there, they're crying. They blinking like a damn cartoon with their eyelashes. I'm sorry. Right? They just went on a damn massive killing spree. Killed 15 people unjustly. And they're saying they're sorry and they're crying. And you're up on the throne where, you look very, very apologetic, let her go. Then you overthrew the whole kingdom. You're overthrowing judgment. You don't want to overthrow and be faint-hearted or be too emotional, man. Hey, I'm led to believe Royal Barmy loved his friends, man. He grew up with them. You know that relationship you got with people you grew up with, man? You'll take a bullet for them. Some people, they've not had something to eat and somebody gave them food. They took the shirt off their back, changed shoes, or whatever the case may be, man. Called his mom, and his pop. You know what I'm saying? When you come over the house, go straight to the refrigerator like Smokey did on Friday and start digging in it, man. Because you right at home. Because those are your peoples. But you can't let that reign over you with proper judgment, man, like Rehoboam did. And not neglect. So I can neglect the ancient gray-haired men. It says what? And he said unto them, what counsel give ye that we may answer this people, who they spoke to me, saying, make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter? And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, thus shalt thou speak unto this people, and speak unto thee, saying, thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, my finger shall be thicker than my father's loins, man. And that's off, man. We're going to reign over this people. We're going to tell them what to do. Jump, skip, run, bow, leap, right? Doing God knows what, man. Just leading the people around, man. You can't do that. And what did they eventually do? Jumping down to verse number 16. So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, what portion have we in David? Man, what's the point of serving you, man? What portion do we have in David, man? What are we getting out of this? If you're making a decision and it's always overthrown emotionally or doing God knows what, you're not taking counsel, what are anybody going to listen to you or have favor into you in, man? It says, and the people answered the king, saying, what portion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel, now see to thy own house, David. So Israel departed into their tents, man. Divided the whole kingdom, all by not taking heed to a counsel. So you may ask yourself, man, when you're at your wits and you don't know what to do, hey, brother, ask for counsel. That can help. And don't neglect the counsel. It's been plenty of brothers, we're not going to get specific, that asked counsel and they forsook the counsel, and now they're in God knows what type of situation, all because they didn't listen. Now, I may know a precept. The brother may not know it. He may know a precept. I don't know. Now I'm gonna ask the brother for counsel. What do you think about this? Then a brother may pull something in Genesis, Isaiah, and whether I've seen it or not, I may not have looked at it like he looked at it. And he may break it down in such a way where I didn't even see that. And I'm like, well, damn, I didn't even look at it that way. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Next thing you know, I apply that precept. Not that it's anybody telling you out of their vain understanding, but I apply the precept, right? Then the precept is going to speak and lead me into the way of righteousness. But if you neglect that and turn aside, then you're going to be overthrown, especially as a king.
God. And as we begin to wind down, I actually want to go. We talked about these two righteous kings, and I want to go into what these kings were righteous, and they served the Most High diligently. But we know. Let me get this precept in the book of Job. Right. Let me get this real quick. First and foremost, right. This is the book of Job, chapter 9 and 20. If I justify myself, mine own mouth shall condemn me. If I say I am perfect, it shall also prove me perverse. So no man was Yahushua at all. Yahushua is the only man that walked the earth without spot and without blemish. Although these kings were righteous, there are plenty of righteous things that Uzziah did. He built siege weapons. You understand? He gave the army technological advances. He had a military mind, but there was a downfall. Plenty of righteous things David did. Right, he restored and enlarged the borders of Judea. He destroyed the Philistines. He unified the kingdom in order, and there was a downfall he did. We know what the downfall was: adultery and murder, essentially. Then you had Solomon. Solomon did many wise things. He built the temple, built the house of the Lord. Right, he had the whole nation eating and drinking and being merry, and there was nothing but tranquility. But we know his downfall. Right, falling in love with the heathen women and serving their gods. Now I'm gonna go into King Hezekiah real quick and one of his downfalls, right? So we know even and it's humbling because the Most High can set you up, and even Solomon, who knows all things, the Most High can still show you the flaws in men, right? And you can still see a man and his so-called perfection, and the Most High can reveal unto you certain traits about this individual, and you could take that and you learn from that as well, man. So this is second. I'm gonna go to 2 Kings, the 20th chapter. Right, let's go to 2 Kings chapter 20, and I'm gonna see where I want to start off real quick. Dealing with Hezekiah. Right, this is 2 Kings chapter 20 and verse. Let's start at 12. 2 Kings 20 and 12. Here with me. It reads, at that time, Baladan, the son of Baladan, king of Babylon, sent letters and a present unto Hezekiah, for he had heard that Hezekiah had been sick. And Hezekiah hearkened unto them. And you're not supposed to take gifts as a king. Right? Let me get that. He took gifts from these heathen. Right? Let me get that. That's where you go off. This Exodus chapter 23 and 8. Right? Exodus chapter 23 and 8. It reads, and thou shalt take no gift, for the gift blindeth the wise and perverteth the words of the righteous. So if somebody rock you to sleep with gifts, they keep buying you chains, keep buying you cars, keep buying you houses, then they go off and sin, you're more inclined to turn a blind eye to their sin because you don't want to miss out on the gifts that they're giving you. So Hezekiah hearkened unto the king of Babylon. By reading on. And Hezekiah hearkened unto them and showed them all his house of his precious things, the silver and the gold and the spices and the precious ointment and all the house of his armor and all that was found in the treasuries. There was nothing in his house nor in all his dominion that Hezekiah showed them not. So he exposed himself. Right? That, there's power in secrecy, man, especially as a king. You don't give your weak points and your vulnerability. That's like me showing a brother, look, this is the lock code to my door. Right? You want to get in? It's 1 2 3 4. You need the passcode to my phone. It's 4 5 6 7. Right? And my woman, hey, look, she look, I go to work. I go to work from this time to this time. And my woman, she's home from this time to this time. She's always by herself. right? Don't worry about it, right? Oh, and then the alarm code, don't worry about it. If you look under the mat, and then you show them everything. Here, let me log in and show you my checkings. Let me show you my savings, right? Let me show you what I've reserved. Let me show you how many bedrooms I have, how many bathrooms, right? Let me show you what's behind my dresser. Here's my drawer. That's off, man. And these men you don't do that for no man, right? And especially the heathen who hate you, who are going to look at that as an opportunity to overthrow and supplant you. And you have to have discernment. And the Most High said, do no secret thing before a stranger, right? Let me get that real quick. Where was that? Sirach, the 8th chapter, right? This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 8 and verse 18. Do no secret thing before a stranger, for thou knowest not what he will bring forth. Yeah, you sitting up there revealing all of your secrets. You don't know what's in this man's mind. Oh, wow, that's a cool code. And he's thinking about, oh, yeah, that's how I get in his phone. Or that's where his bank account is. Or that's where his woman be at. Oh, go ahead, King.
I want to make one quick point, too. And that's reminding me, that's making me think of, as you're saying, that you got to watch people that just be hanging around. Like if me and a brother having a conversation, it's a brother right here, be langing around after camp or something, just kind of just on his phone, just listening. You got to be aware of that, too, and spies and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. Because you don't know what they're going to bring forth. I heard that this brother said this, right? Hey, I saw that this brother, hey, look, that's the lock to his door. That's where he keep his key. And he's doing that to the heathen, the Babylonians, because he got sold by that gift. It reads, that's what the Lord said, a gift destroyeth the heart. It reads, do no secret thing before a stranger, for thou knowest not what he will bring forth. Open not thine heart to every man, lest he requite thee a shrewd turn. You don't open your heart to every man. You don't get counsel from 20 people. You and your woman get into it bad. Y'all got a heated argument, and you call everybody in Israel. You on a post on story, me and my woman are getting into it right now, and here's a quick clip, and here's a video. She's yelling, check that out, and check me out. That's me yelling. That's me right there. What shall we do? And you make a post. That's off, man. You don't have to reveal yourself, man. Hey, the Most High doesn't reveal himself, man. There are secret parts, and there are things we'll never know if Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, man. There are things he won't give to man. And that's the power right there. There's a power in the mystery, man. And a woman doesn't like a man that just reveals everything, man. Right? On the first day. I do this and I do this. And he's his natural self. You know how you in a relationship, you build up, you become more comfortable with somebody, and you get to know each other. Nobody's just their natural self, for lack of better terms, and your comfortable self on one day. Nobody wants to deal with a man like that, man. A woman like a guy that's kind of mysterious, man. Not a man that giving his strength into a woman, man. And whatever you want me to do, right? This is not a lesson on men and women, but nevertheless, you want to have some type of shroud about you, some type of mystery about you. You understand? And that barrier is acceptable, man. You need that. You need to have those lines that can never be crossed. You understand? Me and Araya, we've been knowing each other for years, man. Years and years and years. And and there are certain things just, because we follow the scriptures that I may not know about him, he may not know about me, man. He's not going to tell me what him and, God knows what. And I'm not, hey, look, me and my woman, we doing this right now. Hey, check this out. And we're taking pictures. Hey, Ryan, look at this. What you think about my woman's earrings? That's up. He don't need to know that, man. So, and let alone a heathen. Stop letting a brother. One more point. I was watching this movie, man. This was a long time ago. It was this Jake. He was dealing with this Edomite woman, and he had a dinner party. And at this dinner party, big socialite event, all of the top co-workers are there, all of the bosses are there, whatever, management, and everybody's talking. And this Jake, he's drinking, and he begins to say, well, I have a peanut allergy. Right? I'm allergic to this, and I'm allergic to this. And you know, please don't put that in my drink, because if that happens to me, this will happen to me. Right? Hey, don't do that. And he just lets it go. And this guy was watching, man. The guy that wanted that Edomite woman that he was dealing with was watching. And what did he do? He put peanut oil in that guy's salad or something like that. And that guy died, man. And he ended up taking his woman. You know? But you got it, King.
And like the brother's going into, man, the more you know about somebody, hey man, that's why they say what's the saying in the world? Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Right? If you're so, and that's just a nigga mentality, but nevertheless, your friends, they know more about you, man. They will turn on you. Right? They could do God knows what, man. Right? They could come into your house, right? They know what's going on, and they can overthrow you, man, for lack of better terms. All because you're not understanding that everybody shouldn't know everything about everything, man. Even your woman, man, you know, right? But let me get this in Job. This is Job chapter 29, right? And verse, I'm gonna start at this whole chapter is fire. I'm gonna start at 7. It says, when I went out to the gate through the city, when I prepared my seat in the streets, the young men saw me and hid themselves, and the age arose and stood up. So this is Job, you understand, in the book of Job chapter 29, talking about how he's a king, how he presents himself, man. These are all attributes of being a king. You have to execute counsel. You understand? You know how to lead the people. You got to know how to lead the people, because you can't be a king. Nobody cares how much knowledge you have, man. That's not going to give you any type of stats with the Most High or with man. Nobody cares you know how to break down the whole book of Revelation, but your judgment is off. You're faint-hearted. You don't take counsel. You're you're prideful. Your heart is lifted up, man. You have to execute everything that could be a downfall and examine those things and perfect yourself as a king. It says what? It says, the princes refrained from talking and laid their hand on their mouth. The nobles held their peace, and their tongue clave to the roof of their mouth. You got to ask yourself, when you come around, are people trying to get a gem and listen to what you're saying? Or are you the nigga with the joke, man? Or are you the person with the folly? You come around in this folly time. You know, here come this brother. Everybody start laughing and throwing their hands in the air, man. And then you come over just waddling over like a penguin, man. With a joke like this, man. Are you with a laughing stock? Or are you somebody that, well, what do you think? What do you think? You always got that one brother you may think of, right? And you have a question, you need counsel, or you need an understanding, and you think of that brother first. Then you got the other brother, you thinking, damn, you had a feast day, or you may be at a brother's house, and you may think of wine. We don't have no wine, and you think of that brother. Or you may think of, I don't know, who's going to bring God knows what. Then you thinking of that brother. Or it's kind of dry in here. Where's this brother at? The folly brother. You don't want to be the folly brother, man. You want to be like Job, man. It says, the nobles held their peace, and their tongue clave to the roof of their mouth. When the ear heard me, then it blessed me. And when the eye saw me, it gave witness to me, because I delivered the poor that cry, and the fatherless, and him that had none to help him. The blessing of him that was ready to perish came upon me, and I caused the widow's heart to sing for joy. Jumping down to verse number 18. Then I said, I shall die in my nest, and I shall multiply my days as the sand. My root was spread out by the waters, and the dew laid all night upon my branch. So as Job is expounding himself as a king, a noble, a leader, a man, he's saying the dew lay all night betwixt his branches, man. Meaning the only thing that's going to keep you rooted and grounded to be able to be in this truth, man, forever, you understand, is this knowledge of the Lord, man, is keeping these commandments. You see how Uzziah's heart got lifted up. He went off. You see what happened when David didn't go to war. You understand? He stayed behind. He committed adultery. You see what happened when the gift destroyed the heart with Hezekiah. It was his downfall. You see how the heathenistic women, you understand, can wrap their philosophies or throw them at you, rather. And you can see what happened to Solomon, man. So you can see what happened to our forefathers, their strengths and their weaknesses. You have to apply that to your heart, man. Don't just apply how to be a leader and how to be a prophet. You're just looking at John. You're looking at Isaiah and looking at Daniel for all of the prophecies they had, but never look at what they did to obtain those, or the mercies and the things that they did to stay in order, man, and be on fire. It says, My glory was fresh in me, and my bow was renewed in my hand. Unto me men gave ear, and waited, and kept silence at my counsel. After my words they spake not again, and my speech dropped upon them. It said, after my words they spake not again. Meaning after Job gave counsel, they didn't double think what it is that they were going to think in the first place. You may get counsel from a brother, and it may be bad counsel. Brother may tell you, something going on in my marriage. Yeah, well, she's off. I think you should leave her. The Lord said you could get multiple wives. Then he starts to counsel you in Exodus, man, 21. Now he's going into precepts. He's breaking down, David, he had this, he had that. He was a king. Then you start scratching yourself. Yeah, he did multiple. And then now you got a hole and breach in your marriage, man, that never got fixed. You're adding more spirits, and he got overthrown. Job had the type of counsel where he spake, men didn't answer again. That made perfect sense. All praise to the Most High. You expounded it well. It was very, very prudent, the matter that you brought forth. Then you have some people, you can't ask everybody for counsel, man. Because you like Sirach, the 37th chapter, you got people that will counsel for their own love and their own right, man. Let me get that real fast.
Okay.
Right? And that'll overthrow you. So as a king, you got to know who to get counsel from and who to get direction from, and how to give counsel yourself. This is Sirach chapter 37, right? And this whole thing. I'm going to start at verse number 6. It says, forget not thy friend in thy mind, and be not unmindful, right, of them in thy riches. Every counselor exhorteth counsel, but there is some that counseleth for himself. Beware of a counselor, and know before what need he have, for he will counsel for himself, lest he cast a lot upon thee, man. Right? You ask a brother, man, says this shirt wrinkled? Yeah, brother, that shirt wrinkled, man. Take that thing off, man. You take it off. Right, man, give it to me. I'll throw it away. Then he take it in the alley and put it in his car, man. Right? So you don't want to have a brother that got false and wicked counsel. So as Job gave counsel, men hold their tongue and spake not again. That say a lot, man. Right? It says, and verse 23, and they waited for me as the rain, and they opened their mouth wide as for the latter rain. So when Job spake, it was like it was raining outside, man. That's deep when you think about it. That's how much wisdom Job had. When the land is dry, it's desolate, it's a drought, it's a famine, and then that rain opened up and it starts to expound on all of the dry land. Then that land is crying out and getting fed. You understand? The same way you have certain men, they may need help. They need to be led. They need a shepherd. They need counsel. They need direction. They need help, man. And you want to be that type of king and man that when you speak, it's like it's raining outside, man. It says, if I laugh upon them, they believed it not, and the light of my countenance cast not down. That's the point. I chose out their way and sat chief, and dwelt as a king in the army, as one that comforteth the mourners. So as a king isn't always just honor and glory, right? Your name's just big and popular. All the women know you. All the men, they want to bow down into you. That's not what a king is, man. Hey, Job said, I was as one that comforteth the mourners. So you have to comfort the mourners. You have to give counsel. And you have to do all of these things. You have to give if you're a king. It isn't how the heathens put it in the movies, like the brother brought out, man. You just eat grapes all day and have a big belly, man. Right? And lay down. Right? No, you have to be a one that gives. And as you give, you get the greater glory in the latter end. You understand, as a servant.
Okay. And I'm gonna get these two quick precepts. Right. This is the same downfall of Hezekiah is the same downfall that happened to Samson. Right. So this is Judges chapter 16 and verse 15. And she said unto him, how canst thou say I love thee when thine heart is not with me? Right. And a man's heart is supposed to be with the Most High. Right. Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. David was a man. It didn't say there's no account of David being a man after Abigail's heart. Right. Or David being a man after, this Milcah's heart. David was a man after the Most High's own heart. Huh? So she said, how can you say you love me if your heart is not with me? If a man's heart is with the Most High, he's gonna show that love towards his woman, because that's the order that the Most High set up. Right? Read on. It reads, hast thou mocked me these three? It's like if thou hast mocked me these three times. and has not told me wherein thy great strength lieth. She wanted to know what makes him strong. Reading on. And it came to pass when she pressed him daily with her words and urged him so that his soul was vexed unto death, that he told her all his heart. So he ended up telling her what made him a mighty man. And said unto her, there hath not come a razor upon mine head, for I have been a Nazarite unto the Most High from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man. You see that? So you see what happens, and you read what happened to Samson. He fell, man. He was ultimately taken captive by the Philistines, man, and made a sport and a mocking stock, man, for the heathen. Don't give all your strength, right? Don't be a man giving all your strength to the heathen or giving all your mind to a woman. And it's a beautiful thing that we don't know everything about the Most High, right? A lot of men, I want to know this, I want to know that, I want to know that. Well, you don't want to know that, brother. There are certain things that you just don't want to know. And even your folks, man, you know, when you're growing up, Jake, your folks, when they go out, they don't tell you all the time when they're going out, man, and we handling business. You know, I'm taking care of business. And my folks will say that, man. They might be, even if they kind of getting up, they getting dressed, they going, hey, look, we handling business. They're not telling you, that's not your place. It's not your place to know everything, man. You're on that level. You're a child. And they even tell you that, man. Who are you questioning, man? They're not entitled to owe you anything. And that's in Job. Let me get that real quick in Job, the 33rd chapter. So Hezekiah, he didn't have to show them anything. He's a king of Judah. He's a top man on the earth, anointed by the Most High, man. Right? This is Job, quick precept. Job, the 33rd chapter. Job chapter 33 and verse 13. Why dost thou strive against him? For he giveth not account of any of his matters. What does that mean? It means the Most High don't owe you a damn thing. He don't have to explain anything to you unless he wants to, man. You can ask the Most High and pray 10,000 times. He don't have to hear you. He don't have to explain himself to you either. Why he not hearing your prayer? Okay, well, here's why I didn't hear your prayer. He don't have to do nothing, man. He's the Most High. Well, Lord, how come you didn't? Hey, if the Lord has mercy on you, he'll come down and give you what he wants to give you. But if not, hey, that's the Lord, man. And all praises. You know, when people, I believe a brother put on the comment board, familiarity breeds contempt. And that's a true saying. You know, you hang around, you know, let's say you hang around your supervisor or a soldier, he'll hang around a general or whatever the case may be, man. Or your child. You got people whose mothers and daughters, they're like this, man. Or, you know, fathers and sons, and that respect barrier is broken. If a mother and a daughter, they go into the club together, hey, that barrier got broke so quick, a mother actually married her daughter, man. They ended up getting so close, she ended up marrying, this is a real account, she ended up marrying her own daughter. That respect is gone. That reverence goes out the window. That fear of what your parent is going to do to you goes out the window because now y'all are the best friends. You know? And you don't want to be best friends with the Most High. You don't want to be best friends with Yahweh Shai. Right? That's your king. That's your Lord. And that's the order that the Most High set up. Right? And you want to have that, you want to keep it that way, man. You don't want to give anybody all your secrets, man. And the Lord said, a fool uttereth all his mind. Or in another place, a wise man's mouth is in his head, but a fool's mouth is in his a fool's heart is in his mouth. I believe that's in Ecclesiastes. Right? You don't want to have your heart in your mouth, and you want to be a man with your mouth in your heart, man. Let me get that real quick. Let me get one more. Right? Actually, I'm gonna get one more after this. Right? This Ecclesiastes chapter. See if I can find this one real quick. Bear with me. Salakia. Right, I may have to find it. Right, I believe that's Ecclesiastes, if I'm not mistaken. right? But the Lord said a wise man's heart is in his mouth, right? Let me get that real quick, right? Just for sake of time. Ecclesiasticus, Salakia, chapter 21 and 17. No, that's not what I want either. Boy, man, I'll find it, Lord willing, right? I'll find it. Or for brother, if you see it, you can post it.
Is it 21 and 26?
Let me see if that's what I want. I may have just overlooked it. The water, right? The water. So right, 21 and 26. The heart of fools is in their mouth, but the mouth of the wise is in their heart, right? So meaning you don't want to utter everything in your mind, right? You don't want to let everybody know all your secrets. Giving your daily schedule out on Twitter, where you're going to be at. You're posting all your moves on Instagram. You know, there's power in secrecy. Now I have one more precept I wanted to get, but I'm gonna hold it. You got it, King.
Come, right? And I'm gonna touch on that. It's the book of Job, chapter 11 and verse number 7. Canst thou by searching find out God? Canst thou find out the Almighty into perfection? So you could search, man, and try to figure that thing out and search and search. You could search the scriptures daily. And then you could read the Genesis 9 times, front and back, right? You could go in all the type of scholar books and get the definitions of words and the etymology. You could do all of that, man, but you still never find out the Most High to perfection, man. Nobody knows what the Most High is doing right now. Nobody knows what Yahushua is doing right now, man. And they get too deep and try to figure it out. Nobody knows what the angels are doing. Nobody knows. You may could see certain events happening on earth that the Lord is sparing up. You understand, through the spirits, but nobody knows how many angels there are. The counsel going on right now in the third heaven. The prophecies that the Most High is about to unroll upon the earth. When the next seal was going to open up. You understand, in the Most High's time. When the trumpets are going to begin to blow. How long they're going to begin to blow. For what dispensation of time. You understand, to the exact second that the next one blows, man. To the sky crack. And how the Lord is going to come in military warfare with the angels, and how they're going to be in the air, how they're going to be spread out. Nobody knows these things, man. The Lord isn't going to tell you all of that. You may see something like a cloud. You may see arrows being shot. You may see something like a horse and their riders. But the Lord isn't that descriptive as He breaks down even the prophecy, man. Because the way this thing is going to unroll, man, I mean, I have not seen these things, man. You're not going to know how long this is going to happen upon the earth. There's going to be holes in the ground. The earth could be shifting. And it could be an earthquake during World War III, man. Right? Nobody knows what's going to be happening in those days in depth with clear vision and understanding. So you can't find out the Most High to perfection. It is as high as heaven. What canst thou do? Deeper than hell. What canst thou know? And nobody knows how deep the earth is, man. Let's cut it out. We don't believe the so-called white man that he done digged all the way down to. He can't have every answer to every question that ever existed, man. How deep the sea is, how broad it is, how many oceans and streams there are, how many islands, how many hills, how many mountains. He doesn't know all of these things, man. Yeah, the Most High may give man a certain level of understanding to know there's an Atlantic Ocean, so-called Indian Ocean, all of these different seas. Yeah, you may have that, you may have maps, but nobody knows the in-depth, circumference of the whole earth, how deep it is and how high it is. Or else we would have figured out the Most High to perfection. That's how we don't believe the so-called maps into perfection, man. When you look at a map, that is not the whole earth, man. If it is, then that would contradict what we're reading right now, man. So you got to ask yourself that everything that you understand as it is philosophy by the so-called white man. It says, it is as high as heaven. What canst thou do? Deeper than hell, what canst thou know? The measure thereof is as long as the earth and as broad as the sea. And that precept alone lets you know that the earth is only 1% of what we have uncovered, man. Because if we've uncovered half of the earth, 75% of the earth, 85% of the earth, or even 95% of the earth, we'll have found out the Most High, 95% of it, man. 85% of it. How proud is that to say, well, yeah, look at the map, and you got England, you got Russia, you got America, you got South America. Yeah, I mean, this is the whole earth. So-called white man gave you the map. You open up the map, you start reading, you start pointing, and now you know everything there is to know, man. You don't know everything there is to know. Because if that would be true, then you could find out the Most High to perfection. Nobody knows, how tall the Most High is. Nobody knows these things. And if you did, you could be bugged out. You could start waxing worse. All knowledge isn't for everybody, man. You got certain people that fall off the truth when they get too much knowledge, because it starts to weigh on them in ways that they can't handle. The Lord said, as much wisdom is much grief and sorrow in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1 and verse 18. So if you're not strong and on a level, the more you learn, it could be your ruin and it could destroy you, man. So, I mean, you start to learn things too fast. Your first week in the truth, you're learning about Leviathan and Behemoth. And you're trying to figure out if World War III, and you're getting the in-depth breakdowns, and you don't even know that their feast days to keep. That could bug you out and overthrow you, man. Trying to jump into regeneration. So, I mean, you got to slow down in this thing and understand that there's so much that we don't know as a people, man. Even of our forefathers in history. The Most High only gave you a little bit of Hezekiah, gave you a little bit of Manasseh, gave you a little bit of Josiah, a little bit of King David, a little bit of Asa, a little bit of our forefathers in accounts that are written. You got books called The War of the Lords, Prophet of Nathan, Prophet of Seer of Gad. You got all of these. I mean, we don't have these things, man. And even if we did, we still wouldn't find it all the way out to perfection what happened in the ancient world. It says, verse number 10, if he cut off and shut up or gather together, who can hinder him? For he knoweth vain men and seeketh wickedness. Also, will he not then consider it? For a vain man would be wise, though a man be born like a wild ass coat, man. So the Lord said, man, essentially, man is just born like a wild ass coat, man. Rebellious. You have to put that bridle around them and pull them. You have to lead them. You have to direct them. So who is the Most High to give man everything, man? So, I mean, you got to actually ask yourself, man, this thing is deep. So as the Most High expounds mysteries into you, don't take that for granted. You got it, King.
And I was going to say, and that's what makes the truth special and precious, man. Right? The secrecy behind it, that it's only given to a group of men or a group of individuals, man. Men, women, children. It's not for everybody. And that's what makes it powerful. If this was given to everybody, and if everybody was chosen, then where would the peculiar people be, man? What would be the uniqueness of everybody chosen, where everybody knows everything? Everybody knows all about the Most High. Everybody knows all of the mysteries. It wouldn't be a mystery, man. And that's, again, that power of that secrecy and the mysterious works of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man. The fact that there are only an elect amount of individuals who are given this knowledge, that's powerful within itself, man. So you have to look at it on the aspect of you being a house of the Most High and the thoughts and the spirit that the Most High gave you. There is power within the things that you hold on to, or secrets or things and thoughts that you deal with that everybody doesn't have access to, man. You understand? And that's a beautiful thing that the Most High set it up. In the book of Proverbs, the 3rd chapter, right? Let me get this real quick. It reads, Proverbs chapter 3, and I'm going to read 32. For the forward is an abomination to the Lord, but his secret is with the righteous. So the Most High gave a secret out. Everybody can't get a secret, man. It's not for everybody. There are secrets in the Bible given to the righteous, right? Even in the law, certain priests, they had access to the Ark of the Covenant and other men didn't. The Kohathites, they could deal with the Ark of the Covenant. They were responsible for transporting it, for dealing with the menorah, altar of incense, the showbread. That was given to the Kohathites. They knew certain things, how much it weighed, right? How heavy it was. Hey, the sons of the Gershonites and the men of Merari didn't know that when you read Numbers, the 4th chapter. They didn't know that. They couldn't experience that, man. That was between the Most High and them. And neither did the sons of Kohath know how to deal with the pillars and deal with the other things at the tabernacle. Every man was given, particular things. And there are levels to secrets too, man. No man has even seen the Most High or heard his voice at any time or seen his shape. The Most High is not just going to give that to mortal man. What is man? What did you do to deserve the Most High to see him, man? But let me get this in, and I had another precept in mind, but it escaped me. Let me get this in 2nd Chronicles. right? Second Chronicles, right? So we know Hezekiah, it's the lack of circumspection that he had, man. And he revealed himself to the heathen and gave his strength over to the enemy. This is now dealing with Josiah real quick. This is Second Chronicles, the 35th chapter, and I'm gonna read verse. Let's start at 19. I'm gonna start at 20. Second Chronicles, chapter 35 and 19. After all this, when Josiah had prepared the temple, Necho, king of Egypt, came up to fight against Carchemish by Euphrates, and Josiah went out against him. So you have this heathen king fighting against in a battle that has nothing to do with Josiah. It has nothing to do with him. But he's so zealous and mighty. And you can be zealous and mighty and be going off. Here you have a battle between Necho and opposing forces that has nothing to do with Josiah. And he's going to join battle. For what? Let's read on. But he sent messengers to him saying, what have I to do with thee? That's what the Pharaoh Necho said. What are you doing coming against me? What have I to do with thee, thou king of Judah? I come not against thee this day, but against the house wherewith I have war. For God commanded me to make haste, forbear thee from meddling with the Most High, who is with me, that he destroy thee not. So this heathen said the Most High, and there are things going on behind the scene that man may not know. And the Most High used Alexander the Great, man. Right? The Most High used Ptolemy, right? The Most High used Antiochus. The Most High used Pharaoh, right? The Most High visited Abimelech by a dream. Not that the Most High chose the heathen, but this heathen, he said, the Most High sent me against them, huh? The Most High told Abimelech, restore unto Abraham all that he had. Right? The Most High came to Laban in a dream, the oppressor, and said, speak to Jacob, neither good nor bad. So the Most High, he'll work on the minds of these heathen. And you have to have, Josiah teaches you two things, not to meddle in many matters and to have a high level of discernment. Right? Let me read on. And to be honest, that's a tough deal, man. Because you got a heathen telling you that the Most High is with me. Right? Jake, man, so-and-so and so-and-so. But let's see what happened. It reads, nevertheless, Josiah would not turn his face from him, but disguised himself, just bloodlust, lusting after war. Right? But disguised himself that he might fight with him and hearken not unto the words of Necho from the mouth of God. So that was from the mouth of God. And came to fight in the valley of Megiddo. So the Most High was working on that heathen, man. He said, and he warned him, hey, the Most High told me, right? He told me to go fight against, this has nothing to do with you. Right? The Most High told me, hey, there are battles and wars. Like the brother said, there's a book called The Wars of the Lord, man. The Most High's putting this heathen against this heathen. Right? This man against this man. And you're just at home, you're doing God knows what, and this demon is fighting against this demon over here. Right? This lust demon fighting against that demon. Edomites are killing each other. Those are demons and there are things happening that you don't even know about, man. Jake, you gotta kind of stay in your role, man. And then you try to get too deep, or you try to go above and beyond, and you don't have that discernment, and you end up falling, man. Right? Reading on. And the archers shot at King Josiah, and the king said to his servant, have me away, for I am sore wounded. His servants therefore took him out of that chariot, and put him in the second chariot that he had, and they brought him to Jerusalem, and he died, and was buried in one of the sepulchres of his fathers, and all Judah and Jerusalem mourned for Josiah, man. So this is a deep account right here, man. Here you have Pharaoh again going against this heathen, and you're meddling. The Lord said, let me get one quick precept about meddling with many matters. Right? This Ecclesiastes chapter 11. I'm going to read verse 10. Right? It reads, my son, I'm going to start at 9. Strive not in a matter that concerneth thee not, and sit not in judgment with sinners. You might, man, it might be a situation, and we talk about this. We do, we keep brothers sharp. We do like scenarios. Okay, you hear a brother, kind of beating up his woman, right? Or you hear two guys fighting. I'll give that example. Two guys fighting out in the streets, man, right? And they said they about to pull a gun out, right? What do you do? Right? Do you go out there and hold on, brothers, right? And you start pulling the scriptures, right? Do you mind your business? What do you do? Right? Well, the Most High says, strive not in the matter that concerneth thee not. It reads, and sit not in judgment with sinners. My son, meddle not with many matters. For if thou meddle much, thou shalt not be innocent. And if thou follow after, thou shalt not obtain, neither shalt thou escape by fleeing. So you got to kind of stay in your role in this thing, man. Right? Don't, Jake, you zealous, you feeling yourself. You on fire, but you have to have some temperance in this thing, and some self-restraint, and some control, and some discernment, man. Or you'll just be a wild, damn blazing fire, and it's only a matter of time before you get quenched. See, people, they don't quench, the campfire. It's just enough. It warms the people. It cooks the food. But when it's a damn wildfire, everybody knows about it. They trying to put it out. And now your fire is unprofitable. A wildfire is unprofitable to man. A house fire, campfire, that's profitable, man. You understand? So you don't want to meddle with many matters and be dealing with all of the trees of the forest and get put out, man. It's only a matter of time before you get put out. Jake, you got to kind of control your zeal, have discernment, man. Let me get one more real quick. This Leviticus, the 11th chapter. Right? It's like in Leviticus chapter 10. Leviticus 10:1. And Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, took either of them his censer and put fire therein and put incense thereon and offered strange fire before the Lord, which he commanded them not. The Most High never told them to do that, man. But they're zealous. They're on fire. But you could light a fire, but it could be strange fire. Something kind of off, man. Right? Wrong breakdown, wrong precept. Going into this, breaking it down wrong counsel. You're on fire, but it's strange fire, brother. It's still hot. This fire wasn't green. It still looks like fire. Still hot like fire. It's not purple, still fire, but it's strange fire. Right? It reads, and there went out fire from the Lord and devoured them, and they died before the Lord. You got it, King.
Calm. That's a mean account right there, right? And I wanted to pull this real fast. This is Sirach chapter 8 verse 1. Strive not with a mighty man, lest thou fall into his hands. Right, jumping down to verse number 3. Right, strive not, Salakia, with a man full of tongue, and heap not wood upon his fire. So you don't want to travel with like a bold fellow, man. Because as you travel with a bold fellow, he could get the men killed that are with him, man. So I mean, that's very important to be patient and execute patience. Now, if you have a lot of weaponry and armor and zeal and, like brother said, bloodthirsty, you may just want to execute yourself in places where you don't need to be, but that's not of the Lord, man. You don't need to be in every conversation. You don't need to be in every counsel. Because like the Lord said, many things I shew thee that men understand, paraphrase. So you don't need to hear everything. Hey, the Lord said, hear not every word, for you hear somebody curse you, paraphrase. You don't want to be that person just got to hear everything, got to be everywhere, got to be in every ward, every conversation, everything, man. That's not a good spirit to carry yourself in. You got to be prudent, and you got to study to mind your business, like Paul said, man. So that's very important, and that could be the downfall, like you just read about. I believe you read about that same thing in First Esdras, the first chapter, man, right? And they carried them away. I mean, that was his downfall. So, I mean, these accounts aren't just the Monday Night Fire, man. You got to apply these things. Brothers should sincerely have pencils and pens. And when we go into these lessons, if brothers have it, download it to the computers, all praise to the Most High. But brothers should have a plethora of breakdowns, journals, and notes, and these things to help you app yourself to be a better man. You don't want these things to go in one ear and then out the other. Or what was that precept again? I was thinking about it, and then it escapes you, man. The whole point, right, of reading is to apply the precepts, not to just read 7 chapters, not to just read the prophecy, not to just watch the videos, but to apply it. to apply it is going to take away, you understand, a lot of spirits, man. Because you could just hear the words of the Lord, which is a blessing in itself. But once you
Right.
apply it, you start to change and move in a different spirit. But you got it.
Let me get this in Ecclesiastes. Right, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 11, and I'm gonna read verse. Actually, I'm gonna go to Ecclesiastes chapter 10. Right, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 10. It reads, "If the iron be blunt, and he do not whet the edge, then must he put to more strength. But wisdom is profitable to direct," man. Right? Meaning what? A man that has a dull blade, he's going to put a lot of time in chopping down a tree. It's going to be sweating, arms are sore. He takes 1,000 strokes to knock down a tree with a dull blade, when one man takes 10 strokes with a sharp blade to knock down that same tree, because that man has sharpened his blade and it gave him more strength. You understand? And not even more strength, it was the wisest move to make, man. Right? You work with wisdom, or how they say in the word, you work smart, not hard. That's how they said in the word. Right? So wisdom is profitable to direct. The wisdom is going to direct you and guide you, man, and show you there's a right way to do things to bring about a perfect result, and there's a wrong way to do things that may bring a prolonged result. Right? So if I want to acquire wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, I'm going to do what the brother said. I'm going to take notes. That's me sharpening my blade. I'm going to study. I'm going to read. I'm going to fast. I may go back and watch it again. I may rewind it. I may go actually read. I'm going to get out of History of Susanna for once, in addition to Esther. And I'm going to actually read Kings and Chronicles. That's me being able to sharpen my sword. Wisdom is profitable to direct. That's a man that wants wisdom. Now, you can get wisdom too, doing things the wrong way. Right? You're trying to figure out, I don't see why I'm learning. I'm reading the Bible word for word, right? And I'm doing this. Well, you're doing it the wrong way, brother. Right? You're going about things the wrong way. Right? And you're going to spend too much time wearing yourself thin, man, trying to get some expected result. You're not going to get it unless you do it in a wise way. You're not going to grow unless you apply the scriptures. You're not going to grow unless you pray, fast, study, get counsel, be around brothers. There's a right way to do things and get a result, and there's a wrong way to do things to even get the same result, man. Right? You got people that play sports. Some guys that get their championship ring third year, man. They know what it takes. They watch game film. They're damn at practice early in the morning. And then some guys that take them on their 15th year, their 20th year. Right? They were going about it they got there, but they were just going about it the wrong way, man. They was kind of watching film every other week, right? And then the results finally came in. They was kind of going to the gym maybe once a month. It took them 20 years to get that championship, man. Right? And some of them don't even get it at all. So brothers have to apply the counsel, apply the scriptures, apply the wisdom, apply the understanding, because wisdom, what does it say? Ecclesiastes 10, it says wisdom. Let me read that one more time. I believe it says profitable to direct, right? Ecclesiastes chapter 10, right? Ecclesiastes 10 and 10, but wisdom is profitable to direct. That's right. So you got it, King. We can bring our closing precepts if you have it.
I want to bring this out first real fast.
Con.
Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse number 18. It says, by much slothfulness the building decayeth, and through idleness of hands the house droppeth through. Now. So, I mean, and that's with everything. That's with your marriage, you understand? And chiefly, that's with being a king. Because as these men came into power, you understand, and they got on the throne, through the slothfulness, drinking yourself drunk, not taking wise and heed the counsels, doing God knows what, having somebody slew you to take your reign, not taking down the groves. And then you got a lot of kings, and this is off. They spent their time sweating, working to build up idols and groves, man. Well, you got men that actually sweat and work to build up the house of the Lord or to tear down the idols and groves. So what are you working to do, man? Because you're going out your way to do something. You're going out your way to cut the TV on, going out your way to be on the internet 24/7. You're building something up, but what the hell is it, man? What are you doing? Nobody's just sleep 24/7. Yeah, your time is being occupied in something. And with all profit, with all labor, there is profit, like the Lord said. That's what the Lord said, man. And you could get profit on the left-hand side. You could be working and working and working and give all your time to your woman. You're just building her up on the left-hand side. What she want to do. Catching up on all her latest shows, all her latest conversations, all her latest talk. You haven't read for the day, man. Giving all your time to that person you courting, right? What are you doing? What are you building up? The Lord said, by much slothfulness, the building decayed. And through idleness of hands, the house droppeth through. And you that house. So you got to build up that house. And that's twofold. That could be the house of the Lord. That could be your household, you understand, your wife and your children. Or that could be your vessel, which is your temple. All of these things are applicable where if you're slothful, then it's going to drop through and all hell is going to break loose, man. But I wanted to bring that out. But I'm about to bring out this closing precept. So brothers understand, man, that's slothful demon. You know, I ask brothers, you know, a lot of the times, or you may hear accounts or whatever the case may be, a lot of people dealing with slothful demon, man. That's one of the top demons in Israel, man. You got lust, you got slothfulness, you got hatred for your brother and seditions and all type of confusion and doctrines, philosophies. You got like the main 10 demons that are troubling and following everybody, man. That's spiritual. Because these demons are the chief things that take men out the truth. You look at our forefathers, women, you understand? You look at our forefathers, slothfulness, by them not handling business in the house of the Lord. You look at these chief demons, on the scriptures, it's at a very, very high level. And then you may feel like it's at a low level to you. Oh, I'm not reading today. Oh, I'm not doing this. Oh, I'm not doing that. These same demons, they're still chasing our forefathers and they're still chasing us to this very day, man. Now, if you know what works for you, why fix it? Why break it? Or why change it, rather? No, they got a saying in the world, if it's broke, don't fix it, man. So if these demons, they could take you out by the same forces and the same spirit and the same things that they did before, why is it going to be another demon, man? You're not going to have a plant watering demon. You just want to water plants all day. Just give your mind over it to making sure your damn plants are watered. That's not going to take you out the truth, man. The Lord could, but nevertheless, you got these chief demons that follow you, hunt you, they know you, and they try to take you out this thing, man. That's very spiritual. So that's very important. That's why there's so many scriptures on slothfulness. Ask yourself, when you read the scriptures, it's literally the same spirit damn near on every single book, man. The same spirit on every single book, man. You may go to Revelations, the spirit of reading and prophecy. That's in every book, right? You go to Ecclesiastes, you go to Proverbs, you go to Chronicles, you go to Kings. You can find how slothfulness killed men. You understand? I mean, these same spirit, you go to women. Like the brother poured the precept in Judges, right? I mean, it's all over. You could go to Genesis. You can go all over these same spirits. And they're just applicable and worded a different way, but you got to see it in the spirit to know it's these same spirits hunting you, man. So, I mean, zero in on what it is that's plugging you, hunting you, chasing you, and call upon the name of the Lord, man, and erase those things. Because like the Lord said, through slothfulness of hands, the building decayeth. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 3, right? And verse number 2. It says, be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die. For I have not found thy works perfect before Yahweh. So as you strengthen things, you have to first examine things. You have to first watch things. And things have to begin to be weak for you to be able to strengthen them. So as they be weak, it may be a slothful demon, right? It may be a time management thing that you have to figure out. It may be just you not having your priorities straight. It may be focusing on too much of the meat or too much of the milk or too much of the bread and not eating the whole plate. The Lord said this, remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. So the Lord said, if you're not watching, the Lord is going to visit you like a thief in the night. He's going to blow your candlestick out, man. So, I mean, you don't want to get your candlestick blown out in the last days when there's seconds left on the clock. Every 5 minutes, I'm getting an alarm to my phone from these whistleblowers, man, saying that this is happening and this is happening and this damn disease is on the earth and this is going on. And the president just pronounced this, and overseas, the foreign relations has changed and the economic status is flipped. And I mean, it's just always something to watch and always something to be into, man. This is very, very entertaining and exciting to see the world destroyed right before your eyes, man. Last thing you want to do is fall asleep and fold your hands. You on mute, Ken.
That's like about the water, right? This we get the classic Revelation chapter 22 and 12. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. Right? So brothers have to ask yourself, and sisters, right, where are your works at in this thing, man? Do you have any? Are you just a person that just believes or types on a keyboard or just says Kwam Yashala or just make posts on Instagram about, you know, what you're doing? Or do you have works, right? The woman, do you make garments? Are you taking care of the children? Do you give alms, right? Do you do the works of a woman? Do you teach younger women how to be righteous women, right? You can do videos teaching younger women how to be a righteous woman, right? How to make meals for a household, how to do this, how to do that. Men, what are your works, man? The Most High is going to reward you according to your works, right? You can go out, hand out flyers, right? At a gas station, a shopping mall, the damn downtown. You can go to camp, you can hold posts, you can bring waters, you can hold an umbrella. And there's work that has to be done, man. Right? You can give alms. Reading is doing the work. It's works, right? Praying is labor. Where are your works at in this thing, man? Because the Most High is going to render unto every man according as his work shall be. Or all of your works unprofitable, right? Are your works slothfulness, backbiting? Those are works too. Evil speaking, like the brother said, slothful. You have just sitting down all day eating a hoagie, man. Waiting on a delivery guy to drop off the deep dish. So you can turn on Sports Center, man, and fall asleep on the couch. Well, you a sister that's just on her phone all day. You on TikTok, and then you're on Facebook, and then you're on Instagram, and that's all you do, man. And you just gossip with other sisters about what another sister is doing. Right? Where are your works at in this thing, man? Because your works show how much you believe. Your work shows that. If there's a construction site and we say, hey, look, the top workers are getting paid $10 million, and there's only one guy who works early and he's got the hammer and he got the damn jackhammer, and that guy, he wants it. He believes that he's going to get that 10 mil, man. The guys that sit around, they don't believe they're going to get it, because if they believed it, they will be working towards it, man. A lot of brothers don't want the kingdom, man. A lot of sisters really don't want. You say it sound good. Oh, the kingdom. Oh, Esau in captivity. It's easy to say it. Everybody says it. Everybody talks about it. It's all throughout Israel. But where are your works to get it, man? Because the Most High ain't just giving it to anybody, man. This is the kingdom of heaven we're talking about. This is immortality. It's not just given to just anybody that knows that they're Israel, man. Just because you're an Israelite doesn't mean you're going to get the kingdom. You have to have works. Your works show your faith. Didn't James say that through the Spirit? Show me your faith without your works, and I will show you my faith by my works, man. I'm going to show my faith by my works. You're going to see the brothers and the sisters doing the work of the Most High. You're going to say, those guys must believe. They labor here. They're always doing this. They get no sleep. They're praying here. They're fasting here. They're studying here. They're on the phone. These and the Most High sees, you know, at the end of the day anyway. So you want to examine yourself and see where your works are at in this thing, man. You know? But with that, we're going to close up, giving, of course, our honor and our glory to Yahweh. We're going to take questions. We had a 2-week hiatus, saying that we did do a Q&A. But if there are any questions, we'll open up the platform for questions for about an hour, give or take, Lord willing. Brothers could call in, or sisters, to the number 213-603-9096. Right? And that PIN number is 94809, right? 305. And you should see it on the screen. So again, if you have any questions pertaining to the lesson or about the truth, right, you could call in 213-603-9096, and that PIN number is 94809 305. But with that, Brother Naquan,
Brother Ryan,
Kwam Yashala, Shalom.